you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time on a Monday. Bryant Brett with you. Johnny Hill producing as always. We're with you for the next 3 hours. A busy 3 hours. A lot to talk about after the really busy week in college basketball on the court and off the court. We've got hirings all over the place. We've got teams advancing. Team seasons coming to an end. So a lot to get to in the basketball. Grizzlies back in action tonight in Denver. So should be a lot of fun. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing well. We've had a lot of basketball, and it's been fun.
Basketball, yeah.
I know you were there yesterday afternoon. I was there all day Friday and yesterday, and a lot of fun. And I thought FedEx Forum just looked and presented itself so well to people. You know, a lot of times when I'm at Grizzlies, Tigers games, it's in the media seating, and I'm not roaming around in the building like I did over Friday and yesterday. Spectacular building. It's only going to get better. Look, the NBA has certain specs that you have to keep up with.
Sure.
And that's what the Grizzlies are doing. That's what's going to be done with that money from the state of Tennessee and other places. And it will only make something really, really good even better. But you look around that building, and it's still, fabulous to me.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. And, it seemed like I loved just walking around and seeing the Baylor fans and the Houston fans and all the other fans, A&M, all that stuff. Seeing all of them kind of roaming around. And,
A&M's got them some songs, don't they?
Oh man, it was the first time me, my brother Connor, and one of our buddies went last night, and it was our first time seeing in person a Yell leader, and so. Connor and I, we were mesmerized. I mean, we couldn't keep our eyes off of them.
A little goofy.
A little bit, but it was, they certainly have their traditions.
And songs,
they do. Good for them. And they had a...
You ought to see Kyle Field.
I believe it. I mean, I would love to get a look at it. But, they had a good crew there in their little section, a little fan base that traveled. We had some A&M fans in our section, so it was and same with Houston. I mean, I'm surrounded by Houston fans.
Clemson, very loud and proud.
Very loud. I couldn't get a good gauge on Baylor. They were kind of like under me to the left, so I couldn't really see or hear them. So I don't know what they brought. I had some great Baylor fans in front of me that I told them right when I got there, hey, I bet on Baylor today, so I'm not a Baylor fan, but I'm telling you, I'm going to be making a lot of noise for Baylor. And then it was a lot of quiet from me most of the
they didn't bet on Baylor.
No, they did not either.
Betting and ginger ale not allowed.
No, absolutely not. But no, it was a really fun afternoon yesterday.
I was surprised with the Clemson effort, both on Friday. Well, they just really vaporized New Mexico.
Yeah.
And so much bigger, so much brawnier. New Mexico couldn't make a shot, largely because of the Clemson defense. And I'm like a lot of people that we saw Clemson here 3 months ago.
Yeah.
In a great game that the Memphis Tigers won over them. I don't know who all Clemson will return next year, but that will be a tough game going to Clemson to return that game next year, and got to return the game against Virginia. And I was sitting there during the A&M comeback thinking, both teams that will exit Memphis will be teams that the Tigers defeated.
Yeah.
But A&M came up short.
Yeah, just came up a little short. Did force overtime, which was incredible.
It was.
And so much fun.
Reason number 1,212 why you don't leave early.
Yes.
I leave when the horn sounds.
The most improbable buzzer-beating ties that you'll see. I mean, they missed so many shots before it bounces out of bounds with 1 second left. I tried it too. Tried multiple twos, I think. I was like, what are we doing? Kick out for a three.
What are we doing?
And then I believe the guy that made the three, I think that's his only 8th or 9th
Not your
season.
3-point man.
I mean, wow, just incredible.
But still came up short in overtime. Great game. I'm not so sure that I'm not for Houston the rest of the way. I like Kelvin Sampson. I like that program. If you want to relate it to the Tigers, think of where the Tigers program, where it was the day Kelvin Sampson took over at Houston. Light years ahead. Really, Houston went from Phi Slamma Jamma. That was just 3 years. For all we talk about, the the boys from Phi Slama Jama. It was really 3 years. You could move it out maybe to 81, 82, 83, 84, add in 81 with Rob Williams, but nobody was paying attention to them until they got Akeem.
Yeah.
For 82 Final Four, 83 Final Four, 84 Final Four. Then nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, hardly scratched from then on.
Yeah.
Just almost out of the basketball business. Playing in that dimly lit, terrible building. And where the Tiger program was the day Kelvin Sampson got hired, just light years ahead of it.
Yeah. Well,
and now way behind.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I love the story. And they'll bring it up, once a year. It seems like when, Houston's playing in one of those marquee CBS games of, the fact that when Kelvin Sampson got the job, I mean, he was walking around campus begging students to come to basketball games. Just give us a chance. Just come and hang out. And, the fact that they are now, a almost a shoo-in every year to be in the NCAA tournament and be a high seed, number 1 seed this year. It really is incredible.
They have a tough game ahead of them, but I would be fine with that. They've never won it. They've been to a lot of Final Fours, even with Kelvin Sampson. They've been to Final Fours, a Final Four.
Yeah.
Or two.
Two.
Yeah. And against Duke.
That's gonna be tough
next time out. But I would be fine with one of the first time winners ever. Houston fits that. Purdue fits that. Tennessee fits that. Alabama, Clemson.
A lot that fit it this year. But yeah, no, I mean
San Diego State.
But I mean, what we saw last night from Clemson, you mentioned just, I mean, it looks like a completely different team than what we saw here in Memphis. Even though that was a good game, very physical, very back and forth game, they've clearly gotten better as the year's gone on. And I was telling Johnny Radio earlier today that it, to me, looks like they've gotten better. Obviously, very easy to get better from a, December game to March. It looks like they've gotten better since the conference games they played in February.
Since March 5th.
I mean, they have flipped the switch now that they've gotten to March. They're all locked in. They are playing very fundamentally sound basketball. Their defense was, I mean, what stood out to me in that game yesterday, because we know Baylor, great offense, kind of struggle on the defensive end, but they have a great offense, and they could not get anything going at all offensively against this Clemson defense. So I was really impressed with what I saw yesterday from Clemson.
Baylor really stymied by that Clemson effort, and I love the point and post for Clemson. That's kind of old school way to look at it, and they've got it going. I don't know that they can win it all.
No. I mean, they talk about tough matchups. I mean, they have to go see Arizona in their next game out in California. I mean, so that's not going to be easy, and it's going to be tough for their fans to make that trip. Certainly much tougher than it will be for Arizona fans. But like I was saying this earlier today as well. I mean, I've seen Arizona lose a lot of head scratchers this year. I mean, they have 8 losses on the season, and I think probably at least 6 of those losses after the game, I said, wow, I can't believe Arizona lost that game. So I think Arizona can lose that game to Clemson, but it's going to be a tough matchup for them.
Whose tournament is it to lose?
Well, Brett,
it's there for them. They just got to go finish it off.
It honestly feels like UConn at this point. And as much as this
wide open feeling that we had all year. I mean, I look at this bracket now, and I don't see anything that would qualify as darling, as Cinderella.
No. I mean, this year,
I know we had the upsets.
Yes,
and they're great.
We had the first round upsets, but we don't have that Cinderella story. This has been a very chalky bracket so far.
I mean, it's not even San Diego State, because we gave them that last year.
Yes, and now it's okay. They're back in the Sweet 16. Cool. So I mean,
Gonzaga long since.
Yeah, I mean they've 9 straight Sweet 16 appearances.
Can you imagine that for any program?
Unbelievable.
I mean, you get outside the true bluest of the blue bloods, you get down to most of the SEC, a lot of the Big 12. 9 straight. I think proud you would be.
I think for anybody, that consistency is unbelievable.
What do you think the Sweet 16, what is the football equivalency of your team advancing to? I know it's going to change, but up to now. I know it's going to change with the new playoff.
Tough.
But just over the last 15, 20 years, if your team had gone to 9 straight.
Oh, man, that's tough. I have no idea. I don't even
The Access Bowls?
Probably, yeah. One of those.
And that it might even be Elite Eight. That might be Elite Eight.
Maybe, but it's certainly around there.
We know the College Football Final Four has been the College Football Final Four.
Exactly.
So the college football version of the Elite Eight, I think, would be if you're in one of those New Year's Six Access Bowls.
Yeah.
Would Sweet 16 be Citrus Bowl? Tampa?
I think it's so hard to compare because I don't want to say it because I think you have a lot of teams that would say, "Oh, we're going to the Citrus Bowl." Okay, and that's not the Sweet 16. I mean, you're going to the Sweet 16.
You're much more proud going to the Sweet 16
absolutely,
than you are going to the Texas Bowl.
I think that's why I would probably compare it more to the New Year's Six the New Year's Six bowl games.
All right, well, then what's the Elite Eight version?
We might have to just put them together. I don't know.
Can.
I mean, it's just so hard with how those two sports are aligned.
When the Tigers went to the Cotton Bowl, what was that the equivalency to in college basketball?
I would say Sweet 16 or Elite Eight.
Probably the Elite Eight.
I would say Elite Eight.
Yeah, that's probably the Elite Eight because that's the best of the best.
Maybe the Dandy Dozen.
There we go.
Kind of split the difference with 8 and 16.
Yeah. I like that. There we go. I think that's the answer. The Dandy Dozen.
Yeah, the Dandy Dozen.
But I mean, it's certainly extremely impressive. And
to do it 9 straight,
it's crazy. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Look, for any college football fan that's out there, I would say outside of about 4 or 5, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, LSU, maybe.
Yeah.
You go to 9 straight Dandy Dozens.
Oh yeah.
You're loud and proud.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You're feeling real good about it. And, so that's what Gonzaga's done. It's unbelievable. But back to your question about who runs it. UConn, and then when I heard Dan Hurley say last night after his game when I think it was Matt Norlander interviewing him for CBS and said, I don't know if you know this, coach, but your team will play the early game Thursday night or Friday night, whatever night they play. Thursday night, I have it in front of me. You are going to play the early game at the Garden on Thursday. And Dan Hurley goes, okay, cool. That's perfect. That's another reason I can be mad at the committee. I mean, I see what they want to give us the hardest road with all of these teams in our bracket, and now they want to give us the early game. So, I mean, Dan Hurley, and if any other coach said that, I would be like, oh, that's hilarious. That's funny. But Dan Hurley, I 100% believe that he thinks the NCAA is out to get his team and doesn't want his team to go back-to-back, and that he has all of this bulletin board material up for his team, and that makes me terrified for any other team not named UConn.
Yeah, I think they drop a house on everybody.
Yeah.
Very similar to the house that we had dropped on us in the bracket contest by Johnny Hill.
That's right.
Johnny Bryant, man, we were had. Johnny telling us, I've never been in a bracket contest. I've never done this, guys. Almost like, how do you advance these teams? 37-11.
Crazy.
11-5 on Thursday, 12-4 correct picks on Friday, 7-1 Saturday, 7-1 Sunday. Of the Sweet 16 teams, he has 14 of 16 remaining. All 8 Elite 8 teams, all 4 Final Fours, and his finals all remain.
Hey, man, I don't know what to say. I'm shocked for words.
Johnny, this bracket, I'm telling you, I have been in some pool, pot, bracket contest, gambling ring for 45 years. This is the best looking bracket I have ever seen. After when you get down to the Sweet 16.
Thank you, man.
Best I've ever seen, Johnny.
Hey, man.
Most years I take my little ham and egg 30-18 through the first weekend.
Oh yeah,
getting dusted by you.
That's how it goes, I guess.
Hey.
I mean, Johnny's been. I'm ready for. Johnny, what do you think you're not good at picking, or what do you think you're good at picking? Because you've told us in all of these.
Kid.
I'm not good. I don't know about picking
Super Bowl
games.
Playoffs.
I don't know.
Or NFL playoff time.
It's always I don't know. I'm kind of nervous about my picks. And
Brian,
then,
we were
golf picks.
Okay, you're excited about golf. Perfect.
Golf picks, hockey picks, whatever else. I'm not good at that.
So guess what we're picking next, Brian? Collectively as a show.
Golf.
And hockey.
That's right. Hockey.
Oh, man.
And NBA picks.
Hey, y'all got me on that, man.
I doubt it.
Johnny, great pick.
The way this has gone.
I mean, yesterday afternoon, I'm sitting there and going, Not many people had Clemson. Johnny did.
Johnny did.
Not many people had Alabama. Johnny did.
Johnny did. Huh.
Crazy.
The whole world had
Crazy.
some. But
Sure, but not.
Johnny had Tennessee. Everybody scared of second round Rick, not Johnny.
Not Johnny.
Hey, man. Who knows? Beginner's luck, man. Beginner's
Maybe.
luck.
I'll remember that. For
Beginner luck,
Beginner's
man.
It does me a lot of good.
Yeah. Doesn't help me
Congratulations,
today.
Johnny.
Good stuff, Johnny. But
Dang, Brian.
what? I mean, what do you want me to say?
Hey, so I'm not gonna be a sore winner. How you been a sore winner?
In what? What have I been a sore winner in? I mean, please. I mean, good Lord. Well, you know what?
To the victor go the spoils,
I guess
Johnny.
so. I guess so.
You get to spike the ball.
That's right.
I'll hold off on spiking the ball.
You can take the penalty.
Hey, Brett, we still got a long way to go in these bracket streets,
These
man.
bracket streets are
Man,
tough out here, Johnny.
these streets are tough, man.
I texted him yesterday, Brian. I said, "You're making these mean bracket streets look like a stroll through the tulips."
It seems like it. I mean, the way this is going.
Hey, that made my day yesterday, man.
impressive.
I love seeing that message.
Good Lord.
Did you notice all the Clemson fans with their various great bowls they've been through the years,
Ooh.
paraphernalia on?
I did notice a little bit of that. My favorite. The guy
I
sitting
saw a
next to
Baylor
me-
fan with Sugar Bowl stuff
Ooh.
on, and I asked him, I said, "What game was that?" He said, "Oh, the Ole Miss game." I said, "Yeah, 21-7. I remember."
Yeah, if I was there. Yeah, no, I loved all the different gear from both Baylor and Clemson. Those were probably my favorite. And Texas A&M, and nothing against Texas A&M Houston, but really seeing that Baylor green and gold, and then seeing all the Clemson and the different stuff for Clemson.
Did you notice
I
our
enjoyed
buddy
that.
Don Monston, the voice of Clemson football, courtside in his purple jacket?
I did.
Looking good,
Yeah,
too.
It looked really good.
I like how they work purple into that orange
yeah,
logo.
It looks really good. It looks really, really good.
I wonder if they've broken out the purple pants lately. Through the years, they would.
Yeah.
I think Dabo went more either orange top, or orange bottoms, or the white bottoms.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I don't remember seeing much of the.
They
the
would through
purple
the years
lately. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun at FedEx Forum yesterday. Well, let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30. We'll talk more about the NCAA tournament, what the bracket looks like now with the Sweet 16, what happened over the weekend, even some of those first round matchups that took place after we got out of here on Friday. A lot of college basketball talk at 3:30. 3:45. We'll talk some Grizzlies. They beat the Spurs Friday night. Jaren Jackson go-ahead shot with about 2 seconds left in that one. They're back on the road tonight against the Denver Nuggets. So we'll talk some Grizzlies at 3:45. 4 o'clock, David Cobb from CBS Sports. He'll join us. He was there both Friday and last night at FedEx Forum covering those games for CBS Sports. So he'll join us, talk a ton of college basketball with him, with all of the games, all of the March Madness, and then these coaching hires. We got a lot to talk to David about at 4 o'clock. 4:30, Shelby Mast, our bracketologist, will join us from bracketwag.com. We'll talk to him about what he has made of the NCAA tournament through the first couple of rounds, what his biggest takeaways have been, and how some of these seedings have shaken up now that the games have actually been played. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, DeMichael Cole, the Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. He'll join us, talk a lot more Grizzlies with him at 5 o'clock. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. Make sure you head out to Family Leisure. They've got factory direct pricing on swimming pools, spas, and patio furniture. It's patio season. Come by Family Leisure and check out the new 2024 patio furniture sets. Pool season will be here before we know it, so buy now and get in line for your pool installation and get pre-season pricing. Save $1,000 to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Also, special pricing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool tables, and outdoor kitchens. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
This is Sports Time, and it is produced by Johnny Hill. You have Bryant, you have Brett with you. We're here until 6 o'clock, and we want you to join us. We're always in our Family Leisure studios. And this hour is always brought by Lexus Memphis, but we want you to join us at 901-360-8255. That is the Sissy's Log Cabin text talk line, and all guests will appear on that line. This hour, Lexus of Memphis, our title sponsor. They're at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Drive-in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673. But better yet, stop by the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500, and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, I'm going to take a little bit of a zig when other people are zagging, I think, with the top story. And I'm going to go with these coaching hires in college basketball.
The Mark Byington era begins.
Oh, man, Brett, I'm excited about it. Let me tell you, I think it's a great hire for Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt went trophy hunting, too, and I think they had a pretty good plan.
I think so, too. And I like this hire. We'll see. I think it all comes down, though, to what that university and athletic department
They didn't
and
take the Will Wade path.
No, they didn't. But what will they put up for NIL? Will they make that attempt to go out and give these coaches, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, an opportunity to field competitive teams in this tough SEC? But going through them, the big one to kind of start the weekend was Dusty May. No, it was not to Louisville, even though all the signs kind of pointed that he would be the next coach at Louisville. He takes the head coaching job at Michigan. West Virginia hired Darren DeVries from Drake, which I think is a really good hire for them. A weird twist in the American. Over the weekend, SMU fired Rob Lanier. They want to go a different route and seem to have plenty of money.
3 days
to go
later,
out there. Yeah, incredible. And then he gets hired not only by a team, by an American Athletic Conference team.
I say smart by Rice.
I think very smart. I mean, he did a good job at SMU, and I saw a lot of national writers for college basketball. Really surprised that SMU made that decision to fire him. Obviously, they're going to the ACC. They want a big name, or try to get a big name.
They paid $300 million to get out of the AAC. Well, they're not going to limp into the ACC.
You can't. You can't, especially when you're not going to be making any money from the ACC when you do it. So Rob Lanier goes to Rice. Stanford this morning hired Kyle Smith, I should say, from Washington State, which I think is a really good hire. Washington, it's kind of been that horribly kept secret that they were going to go hire Danny Sprinkle whenever Utah State got bounced from the tournament. They did that this morning. And then, like you said, Mark Byington, the head coach of James Madison, now going to be the head coach in Nashville for Vanderbilt. So a lot more hires still to come. Obviously, Louisville being the biggest opening out there right now. So we'll see how this continues to progress over the next couple of days and weeks.
I'm ready for the coaching carousel, and it really got going today. My top story, from 68 to 16, the ACC with 4, the Big East with 3, the Big 10 with 2, the Big 12 with 2, the poor little old SEC with 2, Pac-12 with 1, Mountain West with 1, West Coast with 1. 12 of the 16, well, they've been to a Final Four before. 6 former champs, 3 champions from this 21st century. Bama, Tennessee, Creighton, and Clemson, all looking for that first Final Four, that first trip to basketball's promised land. If Clemson makes it to the Final Four, I don't think they will, but if they make it, of the current ACC configuration, today's ACC, I know it's changing on July 1, but today's ACC configuration, only Boston College and Virginia Tech will remain to have never made it to a Final Four.
That's incredible. That's a wild number.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, Brett, forgive me again because I might be zigging again when other people are zagging, but my not top story of...
Baseball?
Brett, I really am afraid you're going to be very disappointed
Shohei?
in what I'm about to say. Brett, it is officially opening week for...
Baseball?
The Memphis Showboats.
Oh, it
Brett.
is.
Hey, it is. It is. It is.
I'm not going to the out-of-town game, but I'm going to the home opener.
I think everybody should because
I saw Steve Macy yesterday at FedEx.
Did you really? Oh, that's great. And it's going to be.
I'm excited about it.
I'm very excited about it, Brett. And I hope people are ready because these games, not only are they starting this week. We will. We don't have. Be patient, Brett. Be patient. But they're coming, and these games are going to be played. Fox, ESPN, it's going to be on all of them. So those first games on Saturday will be on Fox.
Dream TV package.
It's awesome. It's awesome. The Showboats will be... Now, this is the one thing that I'm not a huge fan of. Easter Day game for the Showboats to start things off. It is a road game, though, so we don't got to worry about trying to get down there.
I'm going to the Redbird game Sunday afternoon.
Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be really fun. But the Showboats at the Houston Roughnecks, 3 p.m. on ESPN. Brett, I'll be very honest with you. Got to do some research on the team. Got to do some research on the roster. But I'm excited for Showboat football back.
I did see the release of the final cuts.
I did see that. But again, new coaching staff, a lot of new players.
I don't know if I go too deep with you.
No.
But I'm looking forward to it. I am.
Oh, yeah. I am too. I know you're excited. I know we're going to talk a lot of Showboats this year. And hopefully.
Bet Steve Thursday with us.
Absolutely.
In your absence.
Yeah, I know.
And I was sitting at home with frozen peas. I was really
upset about that because I was excited to talk Showboats with Steve. But no, it should be an exciting opening weekend for the UFL.
My not top story, we've heard the end, and I'm glad of it. I know it makes me sound small. I know it makes me sound petty. I don't care. We've heard the end of FAU, and I will enjoy it. They would be DePaul or worse in 3 years, and I'm ready for all of it. I'm ready for them to go 7-22, and if that time and think about the timeout that was not recognized in Columbus against the Tigers.
Yeah.
You can argue it should have been, it shouldn't have been. There was a very similar call like that over the weekend in the tournament. If another hand is on the ball, they're not going to recognize the timeout. Whether it should have, shouldn't have been. Think how differently if it had been recognized. The Tigers finished that game and how they potentially could have gone on, certainly over Fairleigh Dickinson.
Oh, yeah.
Dusty May threaded the needle. He's done a good job at FAU. But to be the head coach at Michigan, if that doesn't happen, it's one of the great what-ifs. It's right up there with the Tuck rule and Tom Brady.
Absolutely.
Now, Dusty May goes on and wins a couple at Michigan. That'd be, game, set, match. But what if Penny Hardaway got that call, got that run that FAU got last year, how differently it would be here, and Dusty May's legendary status would be a lot less.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I'm so over FAU.
Well, we'll have to see. That's another opening that's now open. We'll have to see who they got. Yeah, I think it's going to be kind of tough.
They'll be lucky to get the FIU coach.
Yikes. That'd be a step up for the FIU coach.
That's bitter, don't it?
Well, I wouldn't say all that, but hey, it just sounds like you're ready for the fall of FAU.
No, it was such a key game last year.
It really was. It absolutely was. Well, I'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break. When we come back, we'll talk more about all the action that took place in March Madness over the weekend. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry, and they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Bartlett Small Engine has free pickup and delivery both at your home and curbside for lawnmowers, blowers, edgers, and any small engine. Call 901-386-9779.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better? I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
A new era in public safety begins with you. Be the change you want to see. Join us for the Memphis Police Department Hiring Expo on Saturday, March 30th, 2024, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 170 North Main Street downtown. We will take applications, perform basic testing, and interview candidates on site. Salary starts at $54,611, increasing to $72,000 after 3 years. Free parking will be located at Poplar Avenue and Front Street. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
Excellent, phenomenal, and awesome are just a few of the words that people have said online to describe their experience at 117 Prime, Memphis's premier downtown dining destination. And they're all true. Everyone, and I mean everyone, who works at 117 Prime strives for one thing: excellence. No one at Prime settles for not putting in the maximum effort in making your dining experience something you won't just cherish, but one you'll tell your friends about. There are a lot of things maybe you should keep to yourself, but telling a friend about 117 Prime is the one thing you can feel really confident about.
At LL Flooring, we've been a trusted partner to pros for over 30 years. With over 400 nationwide warehouses full of in-stock, job-ready inventory, you'll get what you need. And our exclusive pro pricing means that pros never pay retail. Because at LL Flooring, all we do is floors. So we're going to do it right. Sign up for a free pro account today to start getting pro benefits. LL Flooring. Every step covered.
It's time to discover your new Kia at Gossett Kia on the Pike. And there's never been a better time to drive off in your new Kia. Make it happen today in a 2024 Kia Forte LXS. 41 MPG, $219 a month. How about sporty 2024 Kia Sportage LX? We gossip $289 a month, both $34.99 to its signing. And get rugged in 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $429 a month, $39.99 to its signing, all 36-month lease. So call Bobby J to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE72, $39.85, MSRP $22,320. Sportage R7, $24,7640, MSRP $29,635. Telluride RG $49,9963, MSRP $41,005. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on a license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/1/2024. Dealer stock only.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A couple of EMS calls out here the last few minutes. Traffic through the Midtown area looks pretty good right now since the 55 bridge is back open. That's going to take a lot of pressure off 240 in the Midtown area and help that traffic flow quite a bit on I-40 across the bridge again, especially headed over towards West Memphis, where it's starting to build right now like it normally does for this time of the afternoon. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. They want you to know they are your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in the Memphis area. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in the Sweet 16. It is finally set for the NCAA March Madness tournament. Thursday night, we'll kick off games. Clemson, Arizona will start us off. Then we'll have San Diego State, UConn, Alabama, North Carolina, and Illinois, Iowa State on Thursday. Friday, NC State, Marquette, Gonzaga, Purdue, which I've seen a lot of people circle that game. Duke, Houston, and Creighton, and Tennessee. We mentioned it earlier, but only one double-digit seed making it to the Sweet 16 is very weird. NC State makes it after they get really hot in the conference tournament and
talking openly, Jimmy V run.
Yeah, I mean it really feels like it, and they've been fun to watch. But that team, with that 11 seed coming from a power conference, just feels like this tournament feels a little different.
Yeah, we don't have that team we can really no Oral Roberts, no Oakland couldn't get past the first game. That was the highlight, I think, of the first 2 days.
Yes,
maybe first four is the Oakland upset.
Yeah,
and we touched on it briefly when I joined you guys Friday. Mm-hmm. They controlled the entire game.
They did.
From the tip to the horn.
Yeah.
They were in control. Time or two, it got a little shaky on them. I'm gonna have to go see the orthopedist over my shoulder when they made the corner three late, because I was celebrating quite avidly for that. I enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah.
I'm not backing away from that.
Yeah.
To whomever that might offend, I'm sorry, but I love it. It is quite possibly my favorite sports day of the year is when John Calipari exits. And, of course, he was as tactless and disgraceful as ever in defeat as he always is. At least he didn't sick his fans on the referee this time.
Well, I know some fans last night in FedEx Forum that wanted to sick their fans on referees, or at least the fans
The
did.
Houston fans I sat around all night were the biggest call it both ways fans I've ever been around. There is nothing in any refereeing manual out there. I just called one on the other team. I must call one on the team when we go. There's nothing ever. In the history of the game, it's not that.
Nah, not at all.
But by definition, that would be the most illegal, immoral thing to do.
It would be.
One's fouling, so I called it. The other one's not, but I got to call it both ways, so you got one too.
That's right.
That would be patently unfair to do.
It sure would. It sure would. But, I mean, going back to that.
And it's just idiotic fandom. But it is 100% everybody.
It is.
Call it both ways.
Every single person. But, for Kentucky, I mean, it just seems like, and Johnny and I talked about it Friday afternoon, but it really just felt like those really young team. I know they have some veteran presence there, but
they weren't up to the moment.
No, and it seemed like Oakland came out and just started nailing threes early, and they were kind of like, "Oh, we didn't."
They drew
really
first blood.
expect
They
this.
were the aggressor,
and it just didn't seem like
for that
they
day
could
they
ever
were
get
a
up.
better team. Now, yes, I've played it 100 times.
We love that. Yeah.
If you just played a best of 7, Oakland, that may be the only game they get. Like Allen Iverson and the 76ers only getting game 1 in 2001. And then getting blasted by Kobe and Shaq. That probably is the case.
That's probably how it go.
It's not how it's set up.
Yep, that's why March Madness is so crazy. And anything can happen.
And let me tell you who knows it as well as anyone. Kentucky and Calipari.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And now we're waiting to hear anything on that front over the weekend. Universal silence out of anything Big Blue Nation with him. 65 years old, that is not old.
No.
I've never thought that was old. But how hungry is he? I've questioned that through the years. Is he burning like he did on the way up at UMass, at Memphis, to show them I'm going to get to the blue blood place? His words.
Yeah.
I'm finally at that place. And he wanted that so badly for his own validation. He could have stayed at Memphis and been, well, he was when he was here, but bigger than big. Memphis would have come up with close to that kind of money through the years to pay him if he had stayed of what he's made at Kentucky.
I think so.
Now, I do think if he stays in 09, he wanted Kentucky, and some at Kentucky wanted him when they hired Billy Gillespie. That really started the Cal years of association with Big Blue. They had an upper-level sports administrator that she always vowed over her dead body is John Calipari ever going to be the coach at Kentucky. Sandy Bell. And I know her all too well. I had my own run-in with her once. They had to go and kind of work with her to get her amenable to the idea when they did hire him. But they knew they were so desperate, and so she was ready for the hiring then. And he got to that place. He got to the coolest in-crowd place in the sport. And he wanted that. He could have stayed at Memphis. Memphis would have always come up with the money. But I'm afraid if he stays through the years, you wouldn't have had the growth opportunity that was seized on in football. Because he didn't play real nice with the football guys.
And he still doesn't play real nice
and
with
he still
the football
doesn't now.
guys.
That's a great point, Brian. He doesn't now.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. And so you're absolutely right about it being, completely silent from anybody at Kentucky over the weekend. I'm curious to see if we get anything in the next couple of days, one way or the other, what way they do fall. Because that's alongside Louisville being open, the biggest job in college basketball right now is what happens at Kentucky.
And, Mick Cronin really didn't set off the dominoes because of his bout. Still could if somebody were willing to step up and do that. But I don't think that's likely now. It doesn't sound like it out there. But the Kentucky loss, it made certainly the first 2 days, and I'm not shocked. My biggest thing now, for years, I thought, he probably really should have won one either with Marcus Camby at UMass or here, and famously in 2008. So he probably should have had one before he got the Kentucky job. And at Kentucky through the years, I was thinking, he probably should have won. The year he was undefeated, Wisconsin knocked him off a couple other times. Now I'm completely back around. I think he's fortunate to have the one he's got. I really do.
Yeah.
I think he is lucky to have the one he's got. He tapped into Anthony Davis and Kid Gilchrist and Terrence Jones was on that team, right? He was an older player, one of the few older players on that team. I think he's fortunate he tapped into that.
Yeah.
Or he's at a goose egg. And who really believes he's adding another one? There or anywhere else?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. And I know.
If indeed he is bought out there, which I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to stay with him.
So too. And
the whole year, next year, will be pins and needles. If you think he didn't like going and do postgame this year, wait till next year. And if he wants to call them basketball bennies and talk down to his fans as only he can in that great style of his, it will really get ugly next year at Rupp Arena, and should.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. But the buyout's not that much less this time next year.
No, it's not.
52 weeks doesn't lop off a lot. They're going to have to pony up a big check either now or then. I think it'll be then. But if he left now, who's out there thinking? Now, I know there are a lot of people out there thinking, oh, man, our ticket sales go through the roof. We roll John Calipari at fill in the blank. Boxes, suites, merchandise. Who's out there thinking, we cut the nets down with him?
Well, that's a good question. I think the greatest turn of events would be Kentucky buys him out and then Louisville hires him. I mean, that would be amazing. I would love that. I would love that.
Kind of had that the other way around.
We did.
Kinda.
I would love that.
Well, there's some speculation of if somebody stepped up and bought Mick Cronin out and he was really free to go somewhere, maybe Cal at UCLA. Yeah. Cal at 65 taking on that?
Yeah.
Cal at 45 would have chewed an arm off at Westwood.
Yeah. Oh, man. Easily. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's a big difference now, and I don't know. I mean, I think certainly has been able to put talented pieces out there. But I mean, I loved what Jay Wright said after the game on Thursday when they lost to Oakland about
spoke the truth.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. Everybody on Kentucky's roster are going to have, if they go to the NBA, they're going to have great NBA careers or at least get to the NBA or have good college careers for playing in the SEC. Oakland are old guys that are playing in their last games, and they're just good, old, veteran basketball players. And when you're running 18-year-olds out there that, they don't know much about basketball. And
I agree with him conceptually, but now Cal feel big in talking about their average age being 20.
No, they've got plenty of veterans.
No way. Their average age is not 24 and 25. And Kentucky's average age is not 18.
No. Kentucky has plenty of veterans.
In fact, I would be shocked if we got get the Kentucky roster out and see if we can find ages or dates of birth.
That'll be tough.
It will be. It will be. We might have to do it some other time. I would say they don't have a single 18-year-old that was on that roster Thursday night. Not one. Somebody may have turned 19 this year while at Lexington. May have been back in August enrolling. May have been 18.
Yeah, we'll have to. I don't know if I can even.
So
find.
18 from right now would be birth date of 04.
04. Yeah.
I bet not one.
Yeah, it'd be hard. I'll try to find it during the break.
But he feel big with that.
Yeah.
And the NIL, I'm convinced we can blame anything on it.
Sure. I mean,
when your team wins, well, we got an NIL business. We're making it rain.
Oh, yeah.
When you lose, everybody outbought us.
Yep. It's almost like the old saying about stats. You can make, stats can make any argument
you
for you.
You can manipulate them all you want.
You can make any argument. And that's what whenever a team is struggling, obviously they have NIL issues. Players are mad that this guy's been making
chemistry,
more.
locker room.
Yeah.
Sure is.
But,
Brian.
if that was really that big of an issue, you'd be seeing it even at the teams that are having success. And so you're right about that. You can manipulate NIL in crazy ways, I think. So, it's going to be an interesting couple of days, see what Kentucky does.
Do you think Reed Shepherd and Dalton Connect hurt their draft stock this weekend? 2 games for Connect of not much, 1 for Reed Shepherd of nothing.
I don't think so.
Really short-sighted if you're a front office draft room that let that sway you.
Yeah, I think if you're letting a couple games in March determine. I mean that is if you
high or low.
Yeah, and I think. Sure, there might have been some people that were, I don't know where to put this guy, and maybe that did some. But if you were sold on Dalton Connect as he's going to be a top 15 pick before that happened, I don't think that swayed you. If you were, I'm not very high on Dalton Connect and whatever, I don't think it swayed you. Same thing with really any of these players.
You think Jamal Shedd's making money?
Brett, you were right. The only 18-year-old they had on that roster was DJ Wagner. The rest of the freshmen were 19 years old.
And DJ Wagner's birthday is when?
Let me make sure. Let me confirm.
Boy, nobody loves the Wagners like Cal.
Well, that is true.
One of the blind spots of all time.
Yeah.
And the Wagners love him.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't
DJ
you?
Wagner's birthday's May 4th. So he on turn.
So he's
19.
turning 19. So they had one.
They only had one out of the whole
roster. So they had one. Okay.
But average age and
the average age was about 20 because he also had some grad guys on there.
Just another whopper.
So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens up in Lexington. But I'm hoping
he's easy to fact check because he says up. You can about bet it's down.
Well, yeah, that's how it goes. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk Grizzlies.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hello, Memphians. Wake up each and every Tuesday morning weekly to Cup Club Early Morning Show. Cup Club Early Morning Show each and every Tuesday morning weekly 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. right here on AM 56. Hosted by former Arkansas State Red Wolves Hall of Fame fullback Ricky Jemison. Enjoy special guest interviews, top sports local, nationally, and Monsters Game Pro Football League updates. Cup Club Early Morning Show right here on AM 56.
Genesis Diamonds came to Memphis to change the way people here buy diamonds. Response has been incredible, as our radical approach and no middleman markups have shown how other jewelers mark up their natural diamonds. And now we're showing you behind the curtain on lab-grown diamonds as well. For example, one major retailer is selling a pair of 5-carat round lab-grown diamond stud earrings for $18,000. Our price is just $8,900. That's less than half their price. Or their 3-carat lab-grown diamond earrings priced at $8,000. Genesis price $4,900. A savings of more than $3,000 with better quality diamonds. If they're charging this much on lab-grown diamonds, kind of makes you wonder what else they're selling at the same outrageous markup. But now you have a choice. At Genesis Diamonds, we guarantee to beat anyone else's price, and our other non-commissioned trusted advisors are here to give you all the information with details you can trust and the strongest warranties in America. Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Bianna's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand bottled, taste tested, sent to a few friends, then taste tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com.
Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time as we wrap up our first hour. The Grizzlies, they're back in action tonight against the Denver Nuggets. Only one game.
Be careful in Denver.
Oh, man. Well, last time they were
Watch
in Denver
everything.
In March. Flashbacks. But, last game out for
Was
the
it this
Grizzlies.
date? 325?
No.
Okay.
It was a little. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. It was earlier in March, but still, it was March and it was in Denver. So definitely be on alert. But
Grizzlies coming off a win.
Brett, and against the Spurs on the road. Jaren Jackson with the game winner. Very impressive shot from him. But a game that I thought very impressive because they were down by, and I understand, I'm well aware it's the Spurs they're playing. I understand it's not a good team. They have a big, tall guy in the middle that's going to be a superstar, or already a superstar. Outside of that, they don't got much right now. But still very impressive with what the Grizzlies have right now to be down double digits and really could have let that game get away from them. No Bane. It was really Jaren, the only guy they had. Gigi obviously has been playing well. But for them to come back in that game and win it, I thought was very impressive.
After tonight, just 10 remain. Wow. Hallelujah. Get to the finish line and get to draft and get to free agency and get to the rebuild for next year that is not a massive rebuild, and get this nightmare over with.
Yeah, and I think the day after that, and maybe not even the day after, it might be the night when the last Grizzlies game is complete. I think there's I don't think there's a bad attitude right now about the Grizzlies, but I think there's a big attitude change about it, because then instead of talking about next year, a new leaf, that's perfect. We're talking about this coming up year, this next season. We're finally in the offseason where we can build this team and figure it out, because when we get back out there, it's going to be a full, healthy team.
And I know right now I can hear people go, are you giving the Tigers this same break? Probably not as much for this reason. I don't know what the Tiger roster is going to be next year.
Yeah.
I know the big four components of the Memphis Grizzlies for next year.
I know Jaw's going to be out there. I know Jaren's going to be out there. I know Desmond's going to be out there.
Marcus Smart.
I know Marcus Smart's going to be out there.
I think I know that.
I hope. Yeah,
I know that.
It's a good one.
I know Gigi Jackson's
Gigi's been playing
in the bullpen.
Well. Yes, Vince is going to be out there. I mean, there are plenty of guys. Brandon Clark will be.
So we got a little
back
more known versus unknown. Now that could change. Although I'm going to be very reluctant to buying the summertime hype with the Tigers.
Sure.
I'm just too burned by it.
Yeah. I mean,
I think Clemson winning and A&M, if they had, I think it reflects even more poorly on the Tiger year than, we beat those teams. Yeah, they got better as the year went on. You could have, you didn't.
Yeah. And I mean,
results matter.
They do. And, so much for the big non-conference and then take care of conference, because it really struggled in conference.
And we know the Grizzlies' schedule next year. It'll be against 82 NBA teams.
That's right.
41 at FedEx Forum, 41 on the road.
There's just so much unknown with, and it's not just the Tigers either. I mean, you can look around and it's plenty of teams right now that it's so much uncertain.
It feels like
year.
Everybody.
It really does. And
I don't even look at the graphic that pops up like point guard, junior.
That's right, yeah.
I don't even look at that graphic anymore.
Yeah, well,
it's meaningless.
Yeah.
I'm used to. They got 3 out of 5 coming back next year, and they're going to the Sweet 16 this year.
Yep.
Just any recruiting, they're going to be double knot tough next year.
Well, even you look at some of these teams. I think like Tulsa this year. Just to pick a team out of this conference. They've got this PJ Haggerty, who's a freshman and is, such a good player. And, a couple years ago, you could say, oh, wow, they've got something in that kid, build around him and, give it a couple years, and Tulsa could be a tough team to mess with. And now it's PJ Haggerty probably won't even be there now. He's already in the transfer portal.
Right. I didn't mean to, but I won't mind at all if they miss the playoffs. Did I jinx Golden State?
You might have, Brad. I hate to say
Does Houston really want to catch them?
And that's a great question. It looks like the Rockets are out there playing hard and want to win. I mean, they're playing as chippy as anybody. And I saw Dylan Brooks got ejected from another game the other day. And
don't go changing, DB.
No, and even one of his teammates was like
35-35 Rockets tonight. Heavy favorite at home against Portland.
Yeah, and Golden State, they've lost back-to-back now, and they don't play tonight.
No,
Golden
they
State
don't.
Does.
Feels like Golden State's kind of waving the, we'll get you, I don't know if we even get you next year.
3 of the last
It's over,
4.
last dance. Stop the music.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they get a little bit easy on the schedule coming up. Heat will be tough, but you got Hornets, Spurs, but then you got Mavs, Rockets, Mavs. I mean, that's
And now
not
Adam
easy.
Silver's real doomsday scenario is this. Golden State miss. Houston eliminate the Lakers and LeBron.
Oh man, yeah, that would be really bad.
Call all the advertisers.
Yes, you gotta have some sort of plan in place for something like that. Like you just said, that doomsday scenario or idea.
Kind of about 3 tiers of Western Conference playoff mix.
Yeah.
At the top, just a couple games, then the broad middle, and then down in the play-in.
Yeah, and so and now with. Like you said, after tonight for the Grizzlies, only 10 games left. I mean, we're getting a lot clearer on what this will look like, especially in the East. I mean, you pretty much can solidify those teams that are in are pretty much going to be in.
Rob and I used to would go the last 12 kind of college football style and go W's and L's for them and kind of allocate what bowl that would be. We can't do that now because I don't mind if it's 0-12.
That's right.
I sure don't want 12-0, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah, but hey, it's just get through those games is where we're at for the Grizzlies. But tonight, a late one, not as late, but an 8 o'clock tip here locally for the Grizzlies tonight against the Nuggets. Well, we'll talk a lot more Grizzlies in about an hour when we talk to DeMichael Cole at 5 o'clock. But let's go ahead and wrap up this hour, and when we come back, we're talking college basketball with David Cobb.
Are you aware? It's patio season. Family Leisure sure is. That's why they have factory direct pricing on swimming pools, spas, and even, yes, patio furniture. Yes, sir. It's indeed patio season. So come by Family Leisure and check out all the brand new 2024 patio furniture sets. And with patio season here, you know that pool season will be here before you even know it. So buy now to get in line for your pool installation and get preseason pricing. Plus, you could save $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, even up to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Family Leisure has got special pricing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool tables, and even outdoor kitchens. I love it when it's patio season because of all the fantastic deals that Family Leisure makes available just for you. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your buddy Johnny Radio. I'm here with Mark, the owner of Dyer's, out in Collierville's historic town square, where they've been cooking up them burgers since 1912, the old-fashioned way. Mark, what's going on in life? I see you got your 4 kids with you. What do they love about Dyer's?
Man, they love everything about Dyer's. They love all the great food that we serve, and they really like eating our good food and watching some of their favorite sports.
Braden, what do you like at Dyer's?
I like a bacon burger with fries, a milkshake, and with a Tigers game in the background.
Carter, who's your favorite football team?
The Carolina Panthers, and just with some macaroni with that sounds amazing.
My man Beckham, what's your favorite food over at Dyer's?
We like the double cheeseballs.
Kinley, what is your favorite dish over at Dyer's?
Daddy's cheeseburgers and the Dallas Cowboys game in the background.
Just remember, everybody, bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team out and eat at our place.
So head on over to Dyer's in Collierville's historic town square.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Hey, this is Eli Savoy, and I've got a question for you. Who wants to pay full retail for a pre-owned car or truck when you can buy it at wholesale? Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, right off Covington Pike, has an unlimited selection of super sharp pre-owned cars and trucks you can buy at the wholesale price. And right now, you can use your tax refund as all or part of a down payment and still just pay the wholesale price. Chevy Silverados, F-150s and Ram trucks, Tahoes, Explorers, Jeep Wranglers, Grand Cherokees, Renegades, a Cadillac SRX, Camaros, Mustang convertible, Hyundais. Check it out. Go to wucars.com or Google Wholesale Unlimited Memphis. This is great. Your money goes a long way when you can buy at the wholesale price, and tax refund time makes it even better. Go to Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, just off Covington Pike, with guaranteed approval. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports 56, and you can thank me later.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Belting. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's quite interesting looking at the weather radar with all those storms to the west and southwest of the Memphis metro area. Again, give yourself extra time. It looks like some of that's coming our way sooner than later. Could affect a later portion of rush hour traffic this afternoon. Right now, it's busy through the Midtown area. 240 south, not as bad as it has been now that they've opened back up the 55 bridge. That's taken a lot of pressure off 240 in the Midtown area, and it's eased up a little bit on that traffic volume on I-40 across the Hernando de Soto Bridge. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in the Memphis area. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Joining Brian and Brett now on Sports Time is National College Football writer for CBS Sports, Memphis native and Tennessee grad, who you can find on Twitter X at David W. Cobb. It's David Cobb.
David Cobb joins us now from CBS
Down
Sports.
the field and down the court.
That's right. And we saw him last night here in Memphis. Some good seats for David Cobb right next to the yell leaders for Texas A&M there in the second game. David, did you pick up any of their sayings or
2, 4, 6,
dances or anything while you were down there?
I was just disappointed that they didn't bring the collie with them. I would have liked to have been
you're right. Where was
collie.
the dog?
Yeah, wow.
Will Smokey go to Detroit?
I don't know, but I'm going to Detroit, so Smokey better be there.
That's right, David.
I mean, the plush version of Smokey will be there. So this past weekend, I got a fist bump from the Baylor Bear.
Nice. Oh, yeah, really nice.
And I got a really weird sort of front row look at the Colts that some people call Texas A&M.
Yes.
And I got to see, thankfully, finally last night, a little bit of interesting basketball, too.
David, here's my theory on Texas A&M. This weekend, really yesterday with the comeback falling just short, isn't that kind of illustrative of the A&M years, except for Johnny, in the SEC? They huff, they puff, they don't blow anybody over.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Johnny. He was there this weekend. He was among the Texas A&M supporters in attendance at the FedEx Forum. Former Memphis Express star.
Exactly.
And by star, I mean, I think he threw like 11 passes.
Brian was at the game that he was injured in.
Career-ending injury there, David.
I went to 3 Express games and didn't see Johnny.
Well, if you got a jersey, Brian, you need to hang on to that.
Got one.
That could be
yeah, sure do.
Okay, good. Yeah, make sure you hang on to that. That could be worth something.
I would have paid for him to show up with the Express jersey on, backwards with Manziel in the front.
Oh, yeah. Well, what a scene! What a scene! A&M, though, I'll give them this. I didn't think that Houston was capable of relinquishing a 10-point lead in a minute and a half. But they did. A&M sort of forced them to do that. What happened is that final sort of sequence was a microcosm of, like, Texas A&M under Buzz Williams.
Sure was.
They're good enough to, like, beat anybody. They're good enough to do things that you just don't expect, but you know, they messed around. Like, they lost 5 games in a row this season and got themselves in a really bad position to where they had to play a 1 seed in the second round of the NCAA tournament. And anyway, I mean, I felt bad for them because they came all the way back and gave all that effort, and then it was ultimately for naught.
It really was, David.
Man, what a game.
And you're right. Just the paradox that they've been under Buzz, you know, this year, lose at home to the Tigers, lose at home to Ole Miss, lose home and road to Arkansas, lose at Vandy, and then pull that off in about a minute 10 against Houston to just fall short.
Yeah. That was, I mean, give them credit. They scored 95 points against the best defense in college basketball. But they gave up 100. So it ultimately doesn't matter. Though, I mean, Texas A&M, I thought, because I had seen them play against Kentucky, I'd seen them beat Kentucky by 10 in Nashville, over a week ago now. And then I saw them really just handle Nebraska. So I knew they were going to give Houston a good game. But, man, how about Houston getting it done with 3 and then 4 starters fouled out, an injury-depleted team already. That was pretty insane.
Yeah, that was incredible. I'm curious, because I've heard some people this morning, late last night after that game, you talk about how good Houston's defense has been all season long, and then last night we get the high-scoring affair at FedEx Forum between them and Texas A&M. Does that worry you a little bit, seeing them give up that many points and that sort of offensive output to a team like Texas A&M going forward, or do you still trust Kelvin Sampson and this defensive-minded team?
I still trust him, and I love the matchup against Duke. Because you remember last year in the second round of the NCAA tournament, all we heard was Duke pouting about how physical and rough and tumble Tennessee was, and all the Duke mouthpieces out there were just, that Tennessee team, those boys,
they're
they
too mean.
Yeah.
Jay Billis.
Well, what do you think Houston's going to do to
That's
them?
right.
I mean, come on. I know Kyle Filipowski's probably put on 5 or 6 pounds since then, but he is not ready. He is not ready for what Houston is going to do to him in the Sweet 16 this next week, and that's going to be a great matchup. But even in their injury-depleted state, Houston is just eons more tougher than that soft finesse Duke team with Kyle Filipowski flopping when he gets hit by a 5'11" Wake Forest student coming out on the court. So Well, if 5'11" Wake Forest student section court stormer is big enough to make Kyle Filipowski keel over in pain, what do you think Javier Francis and Jaywan Roberts are going to do to him? I mean, come on. I think Houston's gonna hit Duke in the face, and I don't think Duke's going to be able to respond.
David, for all the people that love to, once you get this label, it's almost. Good or bad, it's almost impossible to shake. The good is Tom Izzo, tournament coach. He won it once in 2000. The bad, second-round Rick. Well, 2 years in a row, he's made it out of the second round. Does it give him clearance? Does it back people off?
Yeah, it should. It should. Anytime you get to the Sweet 16.
I need a little more, David.
I don't know. I mean, we're talking about Tennessee. We're not talking about Kansas. We're not talking about Kentucky. We're not talking about Duke or North Carolina. Tennessee's not in that class. I mean, it's a top 25
They got to beat Creighton,
caliber.
don't they?
Creighton's a great team, man. They are a great team, and they know exactly how they want to play. Ryan Kalkbrenner is going to be a real challenge for them. If you go back and look, some of the struggles Tennessee's had this season were against teams with really good big men, and Ryan Kalkbrenner is one of the very best in the country. So it's going to be a test. It's going to be a test for the Volunteers, especially coming off of a 3 of 25 shooting performance from beyond the arc. So give them credit, though. Tennessee won that game. Tennessee's now 10-1 when they make fewer than 8 3-pointers in a game this season. And so they can win a game in multiple ways, but getting past Creighton is not going to be easy. And I don't think you have any right, unless you're one of those premier blue blood top 5 programs, to be upset about a season that ends in the Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm. Looking around and kind of hearing some people's responses, you see Clemson, North Carolina, Duke, and NC State all in the Sweet 16 from the ACC. I've seen some people saying that, the ACC was an underrated conference this year and that it didn't get as much respect as it needed to. And now, we're seeing that come to fruition with these 4 teams making it to the Sweet 16. Do you think it's more of that, or do you think it's just the wildness and craziness of the NCAA tournament?
I think there was a lot of mediocrity in the ACC. I think the difference between the ACC and some of these other leagues that got more bids in is how top-heavy the ACC is. Because, Duke and North Carolina were pretty good all year. NC State, they were 9-11 in conference play. So, we can't sit here and pretend like anyone saw that coming or could have predicted it. I think, by and large, though, I don't look at what's happened in the NCAA tournament and say, oh wow, we were so off on the ACC, because a lot of these teams in the ACC, they took really bad losses early in the year, and what happened is your teams like Boston College and Syracuse and Notre Dame and Georgia Tech, and they got better as the, but they were so bad early, and Louisville was so bad all along. That it was just really hard for the league as a whole to recover when your wins are coming against teams that don't have any quality victories. Then, by extension, you don't get any quality victories, and that's just the trap that the ACC fell into. And this happens though every year, doesn't it? Right?
Yeah.
We sort of doubt the ACC, and then they put a couple of teams deep into the dance, and I'm not surprised that it's not in. But to me, that's just more of a reflection about the fact that at the top of that conference, there are some really good programs.
How bad did we miss on the SEC?
I don't know. We missed for sure, but I didn't look at this bracket and think there was going to be much SEC representation.
I didn't either. I only had 3 teams in the Sweet 16. They only got 2.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and if you go and look at my Elite 8 on the CBSSports.com expert picks, I don't have a single SEC team in the Elite 8.
Wow.
So that would entail Tennessee losing to Creighton, which is what I predicted. And it would entail Alabama, of course, losing this weekend as well to North Carolina. And I didn't even have Alabama at this point. So I did have Auburn at this point, I believe. But it's disappointing as a conference when you get to this point and you weren't as good as everybody said you were. But ultimately, you're not playing for conference pride this time of year. You're playing for your own skin, your own stake. And, these couple of weeks are the weeks where we talk about the conference stuff. And it's interesting, but at the end of the day, who really cares about, your league and the standing and all that? I think it's, it's about the teams and the players and the coaches more so than the conferences.
David, we need 3 wins from both. Alabama way out there in the West and Tennessee and Detroit in the Midwest region. And then they got to get to the Final Four and both win in the national semis to set up the famed second Monday in April.
Oh, man, who could forget?
If that happens, Brett, wow. I'm not going to make any bets here because that could just end wrong for me. But wouldn't that be wild?
I'm not betting anything on that.
No.
Yeah.
How could you? Last night after UConn, another impressive performance from them. Your colleague Matt Norlander interviewing Dan Hurley for CBS after the game and informed him that his team would be playing the early game on Thursday in Boston, and he went on a little bit of a tirade, a little bit of a rant, saying that the NCAA was against his team, wanted his team to lose, and was purposefully making it difficult for his team to get back-to-back, and that he was going to use this as more bulletin board material for his team. If it was any other coach, I told Brett this earlier, if it was any other coach that said that, I'd probably just laugh it off and say whatever. But when it comes to Dan Hurley, I fully believe that he is enraged by the NCAA for the teams that they put in his region, and I do think that he is making this bulletin board material. What did you make of his comments after the game last night?
Dan Hurley is taking a page out of the Kirby Smart playbook and inventing slight to motivate his team. You remember after Georgia won its first national title under Kirby, the players following that game were saying, Well, there was all the experts were saying we were going to go 7-5 this year.
Nobody said
Nobody
that.
ever said Georgia was going 7-5. But Kirby Smart somehow came up with this stuff to motivate his team, and you have to do that when you're at the top of your game or your sport.
Blame it on the
It's
media, Dave.
Yeah, it's so easy to get complacent. Like, yeah, just go have your social media graphics manager Photoshop a headline and then print it out and put it on the bulletin board, and there you go. And to a certain extent, that's kind of what Dan Hurley is doing here.
I've peeled and deveined John Calipari. Would you like to?
Well, it's funny. I've been driving today, and so I was listening to. I don't ever listen to Kentucky sports radio, but it's sort of like the preeminent college basketball forum within the Bluegrass State up there. So I was listening to them today while I had some time in the car, and just to kind of get the pulse on it up there. And it's interesting that there seems to be a prevailing thought that a meeting this evening with Mitch Barnhart between Mitch Barnhart and John Calipari will bring some level of clarity to his future. But the thing is, I don't think they should make a move just to make a move. I think they should make a move if they have an A-list level replacement in line.
Who would be at
if
the
they
top
don't
of
have
that?
the A-list, I mean, to me, you're looking at, like, by A-list, I mean Jay Wright, Billy Donovan, Brad Stevens. I mean,
I agree.
that's like A-plus list.
Nuclear club.
You can't get, but if you're going to fire John Calipari and then be like, okay, what about Lamont Paris? Or,
Eric Musselman.
Right. To me, those are
Nate
C-list
Oates.
candidates.
Yeah.
At Kentucky, and maybe Nate Oates, I'd give him a B grade for Kentucky as a hire. I'd give Bruce Pearl maybe a B- level grade for Kentucky, but I don't think you fired Cal yet if B- is what you're getting. So where do they go from here? I mean, if they do keep him, that's a whole nother conversation. But I don't know if they're going to be willing to. I don't know if they should pay $33 million to then be stuck in a situation where they got to go out and hire somebody who isn't guaranteed to do any better.
The long and winding road of the Mitch Barnhart, John Calipari relationship that, through the years, John Calipari is tantamount to his boss. Now, wouldn't it be great at that meeting at Mitch Barnhart when Cal walked in there and go, well, who owns who now? And Cal's comeback to that is, well, cut me my check.
Right. And so either way, John Calipari kind of wins here. It's a Jimbo Fisher situation to a certain extent where you're a national title winning coach with a massive contract that's pretty much unprecedented for your sport. And if they fire you, great. If they let you keep going, then so be it. It's not a bad situation for Cal to be in.
No, not at all. Well, there were some moves over the weekend in college basketball in terms of head coaches, and I think the one that certainly surprised me, I think a lot of people thought Dusty May in Louisville was looking like a likely scenario, but instead he goes and takes the Michigan job. So now Dusty Mays will be the head coach for the Michigan Wolverines. What do you make of this move?
Yeah, it's interesting. I would have thought Dusty May would be more interested in Louisville, because of how committed Louisville is to winning at basketball, because of how important basketball is to Louisville. It's the biggest show in that city. It's by far and away the most important sport on that campus. And next to Kentucky basketball, it's the biggest show in the state. But instead he goes to Michigan, which he's the second most important team on his own campus.
Yep.
You got Michigan State football in that state. You got Detroit Lions. You got Detroit Pistons, Detroit Tigers. You got a lot else going on in that market. And that he won't be the biggest fish or the top dog. And you know what? Maybe that's what drew him to it. But I think it's interesting because you go and look sort of the situation of Michigan basketball. Like, they couldn't get Caleb Love into school. He wanted to transfer and go play at Michigan, and he ended up having to go to Arizona because he couldn't get in. They wouldn't let him in academically at Michigan because of transfer credits or whatever. And then Hunter Dickinson had to leave to go get the NIL money that he was worth on the open market. And so I was surprised to see Dusty May pick a job like Michigan that hasn't shown that level of commitment to basketball over a program like Louisville that would certainly commit the resources that he would need to win at the highest level.
David, I asked Bryant this earlier, since we're down to 16, who does the tournament go through? This team has to get knocked out or it's their tournament?
Yeah, it's the UConn Huskies. They're the reigning national champions. They've been the most dominant team in the sport over the last couple of months. Their only loss in the last, probably 10 weeks is to a Creighton team that's still dancing as well. We've seen the injury situation sort of have its impact on Houston. And then, Purdue is a team that did get knocked out in the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament. They are a team that probably doesn't have a lottery-level draft pick on their roster. So I think it runs through UConn. They're in a tough region, but I actually really like their matchup with San Diego State, a rematch of the national title game. UConn's just a better team in that game, I think, and so I think the Sweet 16 runs through the number 1 overall seed UConn Huskies.
Yeah, it felt like in seeing Clemson yesterday, it feels like they've kind of flipped a switch really since their conference slate in February, even certainly since the Memphis Tigers saw them earlier this season. Now they've got a Sweet 16 matchup against Arizona. I've seen Arizona play extremely well. I've seen Arizona lose a lot of head-scratching games. What do you make of this one? This will be the first game on Thursday. What do you got here in this one?
Yeah, it's bizarre, and how you see a team like Clemson coming into this NCAA tournament. They lost 3 of their last 4 games, and all 3 of those losses were against non-NCAA tournament teams.
Wow.
And here they are in the Sweet 16. You see Tennessee lose by a significant margin to a mediocre Mississippi State team. They're in the Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama was playing like garbage coming in. They're in the Sweet 16. So I didn't necessarily see the Clemson over Baylor result coming, but Clemson's playing with a lot of confidence right now, and Chase Hunter's been really, really good for them. So Arizona's capable of producing clunkers. I think the key for Clemson, and they'll have a chance if they can do this, is keeping the pace down, because Arizona wants to try to get up and down and score 90-plus. Clemson can go either way, but in this matchup, I think they'll benefit from slowing it down and just trying to grind on Arizona a little bit physically, because Arizona sort of has some smaller players on the perimeter. Caleb Love's not a big guy. Kylan Boswell's not a big guy on the perimeter. They play KJ Lewis a good bit, who's a young freshman, not real sturdy just yet. And Clemson, they're pretty sturdy all across the board. I mean, Joe Girard's kind of their only undersized guy that plays a ton of minutes. And so anyway, I think if Clemson slows that game down, they could have a shot against Arizona.
Even a year ago at this point, after the first weekend, we weren't fully appreciative. I wasn't fully appreciative of UConn until they just took apart Arkansas in that Sweet 16 game. Exclude UConn from this conversation. Who could be that team that in 2 weeks from tomorrow we're going, they got on that UConn 2023 run?
Yeah, there's a few teams left in this bracket because of how stacked the bracket is at the top. I mean, the quality of teams left in this event is really solid.
All the ones, all the twos.
Yeah, and the ones that come to mind for me to fit that criteria is a 3 seed, Illinois. 2 names to know there, Terrence Shannon Jr. and Marcus Domask. I mean, these 2 guys are playing at all world levels offensively. I mean, these are 2 NBA level offensive players on the wing with really good size that are just a brutal matchup for pretty much anybody. And they've been tearing through folks, and now they've got a matchup in the Sweet 16 of oil and water against Iowa State. That Iowa State team is really, really good defensively. Illinois is really, really good offensively. And if Illinois can get past them, I've got Illinois beating UConn in my bracket. I think they're that team that could sort of get on a run here.
Wow. Last thing for you, David, going back to coaching hires, Vanderbilt, they've made their decision after James Madison lost last night in convincing fashion to Duke. They go out and hire Mark Byington from James Madison. What do you think he can do in Nashville with Vanderbilt?
I mean, good luck, man. It's not going to be easy.
No.
The question with Vanderbilt is just basically like, what are they going to be able to do in this era, NIL-wise, transfer-wise? What are they going to be able to do to get guys into school that they need to be competitive? And I hope he got answers to those questions before he signed the contract.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough, but you need a gritty program builder. Mark Byington did a good job at Georgia Southern. He did a good job at James Madison. that team was really good this year. I know they played a bad game against Duke, but that team beat Wisconsin the other day, and they won at Michigan State. So he's shown the ability to build a program. It's just hard to do it at Vanderbilt, so this is really going to be a test for him.
Sure is. Well, David, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy Detroit, and we'll talk to you again next Monday.
All right, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, David.
Take care. David Cobb with us every Monday, talking college football and college basketball from CBS Sports. And he was back home this weekend covering all the games at FedEx Forum and on his way to Detroit. And I like those games in Detroit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're going to be some really good ones. I mean, I love all these Sweet 16 matchups. I mean, going through them, I can't find one that I'm like, oh, that one's eh.
So much for Will Wade and McNeese. They got a lot of bracket.
They did. And I don't know. That Gonzaga team looked like they were, getting hot at the right time. And,
hadn't we kind of written off as the apex of the few years?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, this team coming in was not his, most heralded team, star-studded roster with the
undefeated
talent.
3 years ago in the bubble.
Yeah, crazy. But now, I mean, it's going to be tough for them against Purdue. But what they've done in these first two games has been fun to watch.
Happy Easter to everyone out there from all the great people at the commissary. And this week, with it being Holy Week, we know a lot of friends and a lot of family back in town, so you're going to need a lot of that great Memphis barbecue. But also for the big meal on Sunday, for Easter Sunday, let the commissary do all the work. Call 901-754-5540, and they can take care of your event, whether with the ham and everything that comes with that, or just let them completely take care of it all for the sit-down portion of the meal. But you're going to have friends in, you're going to want to go out, and you're going to have food around to watch all the basketball Thursday through Sunday, even before Easter Sunday. Let the commissary take care of it. Either great place, New Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. Big crowds all weekend to watch the games at the Collierville Commissary. Perfect place to do that. Weather get a little bit better and stay there, we can get out and enjoy the patio. Memphis-style barbecue and ribs done the slow-cooked Memphis way. If you're craving an easier way to order, text commissary right now to 33733. All the barbecue, all the shoulder sandwiches on a plate, chopped, pulled, and then the appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales, the barbecue nachos, the smoked chicken wings. You can make a meal out of that and save room for desserts. You can get those for your holiday get-together. Best lemon icebox pie anywhere, the strawberry cake, the banana pudding, 901-754-5540. You've got a call to order for Easter, but go online at commissarybbq.com and find out exactly what you want. They're in Collierville and Germantown, the great party areas, orders to go, catering, tailgating, any season, March Madness, football, any time of year. You can enjoy it at the commissary. 901-754-5540 or online at commissarybbq.com.
Well, I wish I had seen this before we had started talking to David Cobb. Michie Johnson, the leading scorer for South Carolina, has entered the transfer portal, averaged 14 points last year for Lamont Paris's team. So that's an interesting addition to the transfer portal. But I'm sure with these teams getting knocked out of the NCAA tournament, we're going to have a lot more of those that are kind of surprises from these big-name teams. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. And when we come back, we're talking more NCAA tournament action with Shelby Mass. That's next.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
The 75th anniversary sales event is on at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, and we've got Rock and Ronnie Smith ready to put you in your new V-Dub today.
That's right, Randy. 3's your lucky number. 2024 Taos S, or a 2024 Tiguan S, or a 2024 Jetta Sport. Your choice. $275.96 per month.
Plus, Gossett Volkswagen Germantown's got 2024 Atlas Cross Sport, $33,999. Plus 1.9 for 60 months on all Atlas and Atlas Cross Sports, and 0 for 60 months on 2024 2024 Tiguan's, but only at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown.
Come see me, Rockin' Ronnie Smith, and let me put you in your new V-Dub today.
Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or online, GossettVWG.com.
All 36-month lease, 7,500 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Cannot combine APR offer with 3,000 customer cash rebate. House RMO 53314, MSRP 26063, Tiguan RM 003120, MSRP 30,026, Jetta RMO 48802, MSRP 25506, Cross RC 23156, MSRP 38998, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Spring is around the corner. That means the sounds of air conditioners cranking up will be in the air soon. Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. This month only, receive $1,000 off the purchase of a new Carrier AC unit. No gimmicks, just $1,000 off for the Choate's Early Bird Carrier AC Special. If your AC is in good shape, call us to get your $60 20-point AC tune-up to get your AC cleaned and ready for the warm seasons ahead. Choate's is here for all your cooling, heating, plumbing, air duct cleaning, and commercial needs. Call us today at 347-8086 to take advantage of these early bird specials. Or to schedule online, visit ChoatesHVAC.com. So turn to the experts with Choates. And remember, let our family serve your family.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? If you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at LawnSolutionsInc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
The thrill and excitement of the tournament is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook giving new customers a shot to turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets with any college basketball bet. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. The code is HERD, H-E-R-D. That's only at DraftKings Sportsbook, and only with the code HERD, H-E-R-D. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/bball for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders' team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
It's time to discover your new Kia at Gossett Kia on the Pike. And there's never been a better time to drive off in your new Kia. Make it happen today in a 2024 Kia Forte LXS. 41 MPG, $219 a month. How about sporty 2024 Kia Sportage LX? We gossip $289 a month, both $34.99 to its signing. And get rugged in 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $429 a month, $39.99 to its signing, all 36-month lease. So call Bobby J to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE72, $39.85, MSRP $22,320. Sportage R7, $24,7640, MSRP $29,635. Telluride RG, $49,9963, MSRP $41,005. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/1/2024. Dealer stock only.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. As rush hour traffic really starts to get into full swing, we got very windy conditions out here because of the storms that are moving our way from the west and southwest. Please be careful for the rest of the afternoon. It's already heavy over here on 240 East, passing Bill Morris Parkway all the way up to Walnut Grove. Traffic's on the increase, also going outbound on Sam Cooper back towards the interstate. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service family-owned jewelry store right here in the Memphis area. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and joining us now on the Sissy's Log Cabin phone line, Shelby Mash joins us, our bracketologist from bracketwag.com. Shelby, thanks so much for joining us again. What'd you make of the weekend of basketball?
Oh, it was fun. We had some good games. We didn't have any true buzzer beaters, which I always crave, but that's okay. We had enough overtime where I was satisfied.
We had the overtime here in Memphis last night. It was a great game to be at. A&M almost just stole one from Houston.
Yeah, I heard from my Aggie friends today that they proved Houston is beatable, and I don't know if they necessarily did prove that. But
they didn't. They didn't beat them.
Nope.
What league, what team can really say today we were robbed last Sunday afternoon on the selection committee?
Well, probably some of the Big East teams. The Big East is undefeated, and they had two teams, according to the committee, that were close, and St. John's, I think, was in that mix. But Big East has looked really, really good.
Even with the value of hindsight, who would you take out to put St. John's in?
Virginia, no doubt about it. I had them out. They didn't deserve to be in. I'll stand by that for them.
Clemson was also here last night in Memphis. We got to see them, and I've been really impressed. I mean, I know the Memphis Tigers played them earlier this season in December. A lot can change when you go through conference slate, but even looking at this Clemson team when they were in conference, late in February, early March, some of these games that they dropped that really kind of hurt their resume a little bit, they were really impressive last night in their win over Baylor. What have you made of this Clemson team through their first two games?
Clemson, they had a very impressive resume up until the last couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were sniffing that 4 line maybe, but the last few weeks knocked them down. I think they have the talent. It's there. The announcers kept bringing up the snub from last year, and if they're using that as motivation, they need to find something else. But they're a good, well-coached team, and I'm not really surprised that they're there.
Was Kentucky seeded properly, or was maybe the 3 line too good for them?
I think they were seeded properly. Supposedly, it's supposed to be based on how you do during the year, and they just got up against a team that had their number and played better than they did.
And you could feel it early in that game. We talked about it earlier. Oakland, from the opening tip, they were in control.
Yeah, and that you can't. It's tough to win those games. You know, these little guys come and they want to make a name for themselves, There's a good story. You know, the guy that shot all the threes, and the coach has been there 40 years. You like to see that kind of stuff, and I was very happy for that.
I just wonder what would have happened if you make Kentucky the 4 and Auburn the 3 and just flip-flop those games. Kentucky has to open against Yale, and Auburn has to open against Oakland. I wonder what would have happened.
I don't know. I'd like to say maybe the same thing, but
I do too. I think the same thing.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah, both underdogs played great.
Yeah, it really did.
And remember, Yale got in by winning at the buzzer, not a wild shot, but not a layup either, against Brown.
Yeah, I know. They were a second away from not being in, and there they go. And then last night, I really thought they might have a decent shot against San Diego State.
Yeah.
And boy, that didn't work out.
No, not at all. Arizona has played well their first 2 games in the tournament, but for me, watching this Arizona team this year, it's kind of hard for me to trust them. You know, they've got the athletes, they've got the players to go out there and beat anybody, but then they have these games that they just can't get anything flowing offensively, and they'll lose a head-scratcher. What do you make of this Arizona team as they get ready for the Sweet 16?
You kind of nailed it. I don't trust them. They do have the talent. They could be in the Final Four, possibly the finals, but then they could lay an egg. You're not real sure what you're going to get with them.
Yeah. Do you trust Tennessee?
I want to say yes, but I'm not sure. I trust them to go to the Final Four maybe, but this bracket is working out where everybody else is playing pretty doggone good, so they're going to have to really bring it.
Yeah, they'll definitely have to bring it. North Carolina, I've liked them all season long. I like their guards. I think it feels like their transfer, Harrison Ingram that they brought in, Cormac Ryan. It feels like they're starting to play, kind of fill their roles better than they did earlier in the season. How much do you trust a team like North Carolina?
Yeah, I do. I trust them more. They got a tough one next week, Bama. That's not going to be an easy game. We know Bama doesn't play good defense, but can North Carolina take advantage of that? Yeah, R.J. Davis is going to be very key in that game, and if he gets it going, I think North Carolina should win it, but Bama's going to put up a fight.
Were you surprised with the ugly Kansas exit?
No, I had them going out first round, actually. So the fact they get to the second round was good. But I didn't expect too much from them this year.
They were really fortunate against Sanford with probably the shakiest missed call of the weekend.
Yeah, the goaltending, I think he had all ball.
I do too, and no body. But that's how tough officiating is. You think about all these games and all these plays, and we can come up with one shaky call.
Yeah, that's not bad.
No, it's not.
No, not at all. Have you been surprised that we don't have that kind of Cinderella team this year? There's only one double-digit seed in the Sweet 16.
No FAU,
it's NC
no
State.
VCU.
Yeah, there's not kind of that mid-major darling. I mean, San Diego State, they're a 5 seed. They were here last year. Are you surprised we don't have that kind of underdog story in the Sweet 16?
Yeah, because we've grown so used to it the past few years.
Yeah.
And however many years. There's always been somebody that the nation grabs a hold of and, takes under their wing and embraces, and we don't have that. I mean, against North Carolina State, that's a big-time program, so it's really surprising. I kind of thought we would have at least a couple, but it didn't work out.
And Shelby, I want to be clear. It's the fabric. It's the essence of the tournament. I love it. I don't know who was sitting, except for Kentucky fans, I don't know who was sitting around not kind of enjoying Oakland, not sitting around and enjoying Yale. And, you got to give it to Yale. Those kids that go to Yale, nothing ever works out for them.
Yeah, they're tough.
So, it's tough streets out there for the Yaleys to get out of school, just nowhere to work. And so you got to give them their moment. But my theory for all these years, yes, we've had a couple get to the 8, but FAU got to the 4 last year. I understand that, and we've had George Mason. But what it really does is NC State much rather would play Oakland than Kentucky.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. Pedigree, you name it. I mean,
San Diego State salivating to get Yale instead of Bruce Pearl and Auburn.
Oh, yeah. That's who they want to play. And as a fan, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
See a few of the little guys step up, and it's nice when they do. This year we don't have that available to us, but we've had at least some good games.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. Even though we haven't had those kind of Cinderella teams, the games have been a lot of fun to watch. Well, Shelby, thanks so much for joining us again, and enjoy the Sweet 16 action this weekend.
You do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelby.
Shelby Mass joins us, our bracketologist from bracketwag.com. It's been a fun couple of weeks, but no Cinderellas.
I know everybody wants and hopes, and it may eventually happen in the college football playoff that 12 beats the 5. I think that could happen.
Yeah.
And then the next week when that 12 plays the 4, I don't think that's going to happen hardly ever. But I didn't think a 16 would ever beat a 1.
Yeah.
Now it's happened twice.
Yeah.
Okay. But to the basketball head, to the basketball guy that wants to talk about the equanimity and anybody can win it. No, you see, we had the fun on Thursday and Friday, and it's boiled down to no surprises left in the 16. And I think we have gold-plated, maybe even basketball elite in the Final Four.
Yeah.
UConn is certainly that. North Carolina is that. Duke could get there. Maybe not someone from the Midwest, but are you just going to be that surprised that Purdue's there?
No, not at all.
That's no little engine that could.
No. I mean, anyway, I think any team that gets there out of what's left, maybe NC State, but I mean, you've got
they've won it twice.
Yeah,
all time.
I mean, but you've got heavyweight fighters. Whoever makes it out of the remaining teams into the Final Four, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I think you talk about, as much as I love the underdogs and the Cinderella teams, you usually get to either the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8 with those teams, and then you've got that kind of, lopsided loss. And I feel like looking at these games that we're going to have a ton of super competitive, highly anticipated games in the Sweet 16, and that will carry over to the Elite 8.
And I'm kind of surprised Creighton's never been to one, but they play in the Big East. I mean, just how big a little guy are they?
No, they're not a little guy when you play in the Big East. So no, it's I'm excited. I'm already excited for this action that's happening on Thursday, and I've got to wait a handful of days until we get there. But let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Springtime is hot wing time, and time for the ultimate hot wing showdown at the World Championship Hot Wing Contest and Festival. Be there Saturday, April 20th at Memphis River Garden Park on Riverside Drive. See over 60 teams fighting for hot wing supremacy, along with live blues, soul, and rock and roll. All in support of the Ronald McDonald House. It's a sizzling day of fiery flavors, live music, and family fun, and you're invited. It's hot wing time in Memphis. Get your tickets now at worldwingfest.com. This is your delicious chance to make a difference.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
It's time to triple your savings with Gossett's Jeep Celebration Event and Ram Truck Month and Dodge Power Shot Days, all at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. How about new 2023 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4x4? We Gossett $5,052 off MSRP. That's Jeep Renegade Latitude $24,988. How about new 2023 Jeep Cherokee Altitude 4x4? We Gossett $33,230. That's $8,000 off MSRP. And Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike has 2023 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon 4x4, $14,000 off MSRP. So drive past the rest and come to the best Gossett on the Pike or shop online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
Renegade Triple P 56029, MSRP 30,040. Altitude PD 10 3653, MSRP 41,230. Gladiator PL 570 369, MSRP 64,925. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Let's talk real risks and real safety for a sec. Right now, banks are juggling debts under the radar. Commercial properties, cars, credit cards they're owed on. It's a bit much, right? Makes you think about the big '08 crash. But there's a smoother way to handle your finances. I've turned to gold and silver. Traditional? Sure. Reliable? Absolutely. Not just shiny objects. Some stability in these uncertain times. Interested in exploring this path? Noble Gold Investments can guide you. They know their stuff about precious metals for IRAs and 401ks. And here's a little nudge. A 1/4 ounce gold standard coin free with a qualifying account only this month. Invest with the folks at Noble Gold Investments. Claim your free gold coin and secure your family's financial future. Just use the promo code GOLD. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com now. noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy.
I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, my big number today, I'm going to keep it short and sweet because I think the number speaks for itself. We mentioned it earlier. The number 9, Mark Few and Gonzaga have made 9 consecutive Sweet 16s, which is just unbelievable.
Did you realize it at 8 last year? I did not. 7 2 years ago, I did not.
I don't think so. Honestly, I don't know if I did. Because,
I appreciate it.
Sure, certainly. And I mean, when you sit there and think about 9 straight years in the Sweet 16, I mean that's incredible. And
again, most fans would take that for their.
100%.
They do, may not. Kentucky
maybe
would.
not. Kentucky would.
Kentucky would.
But I mean,
at this point,
UCLA would.
Yeah,
they would too.
I love saying it. I mean,
North Carolina didn't go to the tournament last year. They would.
I mean, pretty much every school hangs up banners for Sweet 16 appearances.
UCLA doesn't.
Well,
Win it all or nothing.
Yes, that's there are the few exceptions, but not many out there. I mean, most when you talk about 360, however many schools.
Can you imagine how full of ourselves we would be for the Tigers to do
Oh,
that?
man.
Because Calipari did it. Now, he went 16, 8, and 4 in 3 straight seasons, and we know what that was like.
Sure. I mean, but to be
And it
that
was
consistent.
real fun.
Absolutely. But, I mean, you talk about, and you just mentioned some of them. I mean, some of these teams that, you know, you go and you miss a year. I mean, it's very easy to not make the Sweet 16. It's hard to get to the Sweet 16. And the fact that Gonzaga, even in a year that everyone was talking about, well, this might be it for Mark
It's
Few.
just
this is
2
done.
wins, but
it is extremely hard to do. And the fact that, you know, pretty much all season long, you know, people talked about this Gonzaga team being down. You know, it's not the star-studded team it's been in the past. It never has really felt like it was a go-for-it team for Mark Few. But still, again, they remain consistent and back to another Sweet 16.
my big number is 17. Lower-seeded NCAA tournament teams are 1-17 in their next NCAA tournament game, whether it's the very next game or the next year, following their win over Kentucky. Only St. Peter's won their next game in 2022. Whether it's that year or the next game, whenever, there are teams that eventually become who they are. It's not like these teams are beating Kentucky and going on a magic carpet ride.
Yeah.
It's really the one-offer. And it just speaks of how overdone John Calipari that he is. And again, I'm more surprised now that he has the one title instead of all the near misses or the big misses.
Yeah, no, and for Jack Golke, I mean, we were talking about him a couple weeks ago.
Hillsdale College.
That's right, and good for him. I saw last night he posted that he now has a NIL deal with Buffalo Wild Wings.
Jack
so
Golke does?
he sure does.
Go,
and
Jack.
I didn't know this, but Buffalo Wild Wings is the sponsor for Overtime, which hey, good for them, I guess. And so I don't know if it was because the Texas A&M and Baylor game went to overtime, but he posted a picture on Twitter and was like, "We've got overtime. That means more wings with Buffalo Wild Wings." I was like, good for Jack. Good for you, Jack. You have a game like that and you get a Buffalo Wild Wings deal out of it. So that's great. But we need to go ahead and wrap up our second hour and get to a break. When we come back, we're talking Grizzlies with DeMichael Cole.
Hey, this is Eli Savoy, and I've got a question for you. Who wants to pay full retail for a pre-owned car or truck when you can buy it at wholesale? Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, right off Covington Pike, has an unlimited selection of super sharp pre-owned cars and trucks you can buy at the wholesale price. And right now, you can use your tax refund as all or part of a down payment and still just pay the wholesale price. Chevy Silverados, F-150s and Ram trucks, Tahoes, Explorers, Jeep Wranglers, Grand Cherokees, Renegades, a Cadillac SRX, Camaros, Mustang convertible, Hyundais. Check it out. Go to wucars.com or Google Wholesale Unlimited Memphis. This is great. Your money goes a long way when you can buy at the wholesale price, and tax refund time makes it even better. Go to Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, just off Covington Pike, with guaranteed approval. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports 56, and you can thank me later.
Hey, we're David and Greg Figueroa,
founders of Melinda's Hot Sauce.
Sometimes brand testimonials feel, well, unbelievable.
So we have a fresh take. Tastimonials.
Comments from real people on the internet who love Melinda's balance of hot heat and fresh, flavorful ingredients.
At 2021 DoWork says, legendary. Nobody does it better.
What was that?
Sounds for fire emoji, touchdown emoji, and 100% emoji.
Okay. At Snack Food Mafia says, I love how they were a thicker hot sauce and not some watery junk.
Love it. At Mushroom writes, best hot sauce west of the Mississippi, also the best hot sauce east of the Mississippi.
Pro tip, that's the whole United States.
Finally, at IGP1 always says, smack so hard.
We love to hear that as much as the FCC.
Set your mouth on flavor with Melinda's Hot Sauces. Find them at your local retailer or online at melindas.com. That's MELINDAS.com.
A new era in public safety begins with you. Be the change you want to see. Join us for the Memphis Police Department Hiring Expo on Saturday, March 30th, 2024, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 170 North Main Street downtown. We will take applications, perform basic testing, and interview candidates on site. Salary starts at $54,611, increasing to $72,000 after 3 years. Free parking will be located at Poplar Avenue and Front Street. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
Sponsored by BetterHelp. What's the first thing you'd do if you had more time in the day? Read, nap, talk with a friend? When you know what's important to you, it's easier to fit it into your schedule. Therapy can help you figure that out. BetterHelp offers affordable online therapy that comes to you. Start the process in minutes. Switch therapists anytime. No additional charge. Visit BetterHelp, HELP.com/succeed today, and you'll get 10% off your first month.
Are you aware? It's patio season. Family Leisure sure is. That's why they have factory direct pricing on swimming pools, spas, and even, yes, patio furniture. Yes, sir, it's indeed patio season. So come by Family Leisure and check out all the brand new 2024 patio furniture sets. And with patio season here, you know that pool season will be here before you even know it. So buy now to get in line for your pool installation and get pre-season pricing. Plus, you could save $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, even up to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Family Leisure has got special pricing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool tables, and even outdoor kitchens. I love it when it's patio season because of all the fantastic deals that Family Leisure makes available just for you. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
It's time to triple your savings with Gossett's Jeep Celebration Event and Ram Truck Month and Dodge Power Shot Days all at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. How about new 2023 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4x4? We Gossett $5,052 off MSRP. That's Jeep Renegade Latitude $24,988. How about new 2023 Jeep Cherokee Altitude 4x4? We Gossett $33,230. That's $8,000 off MSRP. And Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike has 2023 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon 4x4, $14,000 off MSRP. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett on the Pike, or shop online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motorcars.
Renegade Triple P 56029, MSRP 30,040. Altitude PD 10 3653, MSRP 41,230. Gladiator PL 570 369, MSRP 64,925. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, final license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A couple of wrecks still in their clearing stages. Here's what we're seeing. Heavy traffic continues over here on 240 eastbound, either getting onto Bill Morris Parkway or continuing on up to Walnut Grove. Just be careful over here. Again, it's pretty saturated with a lot of volume as you come past Poplar. Traffic's on the increase out of Midtown. It's not as bad as it has been the last couple of weeks now that they've got that 55 bridge back open. Now it's picked up with volume on 40 west across the bridge over towards West Memphis. Hey, 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back in. Brett and Bryant with you, and joining us now to talk some Grizzlies. DeMichael Cole, the Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal, joins us now. DeMichael, thanks so much for joining us. And before we get to the Grizzlies, how's your bracket doing?
My bracket is holding strong, guys.
Right.
I believe, let me check the exact numbers, but when I went to sleep last night, I think I was at 99.3%.
How about that?
In the ESPN tournament challenge. So, yeah, I'm at 99.3% right now. So that puts me in like the top 200K worldwide. So
look out!
In all of my groups, I'm in first place. So we had a Locked On Grizzlies youth group. I'm in first place, and I got a group with some of my high school boys, first place in them. So I'm holding strong. I did have Kentucky going to the Final Four.
But
I had them in the Elite Eight, DeMichael, but that was as far. I had Tennessee in the Elite Eight too, and your alma mater. They sure could.
Yeah, I got the alma mater going all the way to the Natty, but
you do. Wow.
I got them beating Purdue, and right. Now it might be a little bit of a bias in there, which is why.
Okay.
Right now,
it was good to you. That's okay.
Yeah, I'm mourning. My Lady Vols are about to get put out the tournament as we speak. Down 6 with 18 seconds left against NC State, but that's neither here nor there. The bracket is doing fine though. Yeah. I think my other 3 Final Four teams are in good shape. UNC, UConn. I think those 2 look good, and we'll see what happens with Tennessee and Purdue.
How much of the tournament did you get to watch? And if you got to consume a lot, who was the person you're going, yeah, he can make an impact next year in the NBA?
Oh, man, a couple guys. I mean, it's going to sound bad, but Jacoby Walter from Baylor, yes, he missed the free throws at the end and whatnot, and that's probably going to be what's remembered.
There's some saying he's the number 1 pick.
He had a nice weekend. And I know that's a player that, when you talk about the wings that the Grizzlies are scouting, that's a guy who, he could really shoot the basketball. We know about just the athleticism, the skill set. Watching him up close in Memphis really kind of opened my eye to the idea of him being someone who could be in that 6-7 range potentially. Like you said, he could even go higher, but definitely in that 6 to 7 range where the Grizzlies are picking. And the other one, you guys know at this point, I'm pretty much, I guess if you had to choose guard or wing, I'm pretty much wing or big man in the draft for the Grizzlies. I'm pretty much team wing. Mm-hmm. But I will say, the more I watch Donovan Clingan, it's like he's growing on me day by day. Part of me cannot accept the idea of drafting a big that you only want to rebound and block shots over guards that could potentially average 20 points per game in the league from an impact perspective. But when I watch Donovan Clingan, man, 7'2", mobile, just had 8 blocks.
Great passer.
14 points, 14 rebounds, and 8 blocks. Just cleaned house against Northwestern.
You run that high pick and roll with him and how he can pass out of it.
Yeah, he's nice. He's nice. And, if the Grizzlies were to get a big in this draft, my only thing would be that I want that big to be someone who is pretty much close to being, can start playing, be a starter from day one potentially. And his game kind of fits that mold.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. Well, DeMichael, the Grizzlies, they're back in action tonight in Denver. And the more interesting nugget out of the Grizzlies, last night they released their injury report. And Brandon Clark listed now as doubtful, so upgraded from out to doubtful. Where do you think we stand on this timetable and timeline for a return for him?
Yeah, I think when we were talking last week, I said around this time, next week is when we'll be pretty much expecting him to be back. And that game, Wednesday, is one that's circled. I expect him to play then. And, because right now, this is pretty much the formality stage, the mental hurdles, all that. Physically, he's ready to go. He could play right now. But I think we see him Wednesday at home. There's the part about just getting him back on the home floor for the first game. And he finished the season with the Grizzlies. Gets, probably 7-8 good runs in, going into next season.
And it will be a packed house Wednesday night.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think so. When those Lakers come in town, it gets you start questioning your close friends and the people like, why are you wearing it was the Kobe jersey once upon a time, and now it's the LeBron jerseys and I guess Anthony Davis is growing a little bit too. But, yeah, those Lakers fans, like the Celtics and the Warriors, when they travel a little bit. And then there's the pride part of it too, right? You got the Memphis fans that, they might say, I'll miss this game. It's on a Wednesday and, middle of the week. I'll come Friday or Saturday. They're saying, those Lakers fans are going to try to show up. We can't let more of them come, than us. So now you got the Grizzlies fans trying to show up and whatnot.
And the last time we saw the Lakers was the exit from the playoffs last year. Saw them in FedEx Forum, And we'll see them both times, the two times they come here, really in short order, Wednesday night and then again on Friday night, April 12th. I would have never believed, even after that Game 1 loss last year, of what Reeves did, of what, of course, LeBron did and other players, I never thought the next year would have for them what it's had, and I never would have bought for the Grizzlies.
Say that last part again. I missed you, Brett.
The last year for what the Lakers have been able to do and their profile versus the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at the rosters, just from that game, just the numbers, which Grizzlies players played the most minutes. Like Xavier Tillman, I think was top 3 or 4 in screen assists in the first round of the playoffs. Like just looking at all these different numbers, and all these guys are gone now.
Yeah.
Like even I remember the game where Dylan Brooks got ejected. David Roddy pretty much played his role the rest of that game, and David Roddy's traded now.
Yeah.
Like the roster looks so much different, and you knew the Dylan Brooks move was going to happen. The David Roddy is, and you see what happened with Steven Adams and whatnot. It just looks drastically.
Yeah.
And it could look that different. It could be that differently a year from now. The Grizzlies could be sitting in good shape, and the Lakers in trouble.
Yeah,
exactly. It could flip because the Lakers are an older team, whereas the Grizzlies are pretty much still building around the same players that they were building around last season. So that's the bright spot of. But I mean, it's a different situation. You don't go into a season imagining that we're going to play 29 to 30 guys. I guess Brandon Clark's going to make 30. So. You're going to play 30 guys this season. Like, you just don't imagine that.
No chance. Well, in that game on Friday night against the Spurs, the Grizzlies were down early, and it really looked like, if they wanted to, they could have just said, whatever, we're done tonight, and the Spurs could have run away with that game, but they didn't. They fought back. Jaren Jackson Jr. sinks the go-ahead jumper with about 2 seconds left in that game. How important is it? How big is it for this Grizzlies team? And I get it. I know it's the Spurs, and the Spurs are not very good when you're looking at their record. But for this young team, to have Gigi Jackson out there, Jake LaRavia, Scottie Pippen Jr., some of these guys that might be in your rotation next year, to have games like that where they're fighting back and are able to come from behind and get a win like that.
Man, it's huge because those are the minutes that I would say closely resemble of what you're going to experience, a lot of next season when we're talking about, the Grizzlies being in games like that much more often, and not just being in games like that, like your seeding is going to matter much more. And you're going to be playing this team with the winner. If you win, you go up to the 2 seed. You lose, you drop down to 5 or 6 with the way the West is. All those types of, but it's just natural experience too. Being on the floor, knowing, hey, Jaren's getting the ball, don't get in his way by any means necessary. Like spacing is, when you talk to Taylor Jenkins, when you talk to the older Grizzlies players, spacing is one of the things that's highly emphasized to these younger players on this team because not only do the Grizzlies emphasize it a lot, but the NBA court it's bigger, like the 3-point line. In college, spacing isn't as big of a part of the game because you just don't have as much space to operate. But here, there's more room for these guys. Gigi Jackson, I remember we were talking about it in January, December. I mean, before he even broke out with the Grizzlies like that he's like, man, it's so much more space. And so I think being in those situations where you're in the end of the game, you get out of the way. Like with Jaren, I think that was the main thing that guys have to do. You spread the floor. You trust that he's going to make the right play, and that's pretty much what the clutch game situation moments are pretty much going to be like because teams will be taken out of their plays, and we're seeing the development of guys kind of grow in those type of situations, and defensively as well. I think that's another thing to point out, especially with a guy like Gigi Jackson and the assignments that he's taken on as of late.
DeMichael Cole, our guest on all things Grizzlies. He's on the beat at the Memphis Commercial Appeal, and I love beating San Antonio just for this reason. I love beating Pop, and the streak continues over San Antonio, can go for the season sweep on Tuesday night, April 9th. But it's going to take a lot of years and a lot of sweeps. Even with that win, the Grizzlies still 40 35 under 500 against the Spurs all time. 39 wins, 74 losses.
I was just looking at that too, bro. And the Grizzlies' win streak is really impressive, right? Like, I mean,
yeah,
what they've done against the Spurs, you don't see teams doing this against the Spurs. The Spurs, historically speaking, over at least my lifetime, have just been dominant. Like, this is the first time in my life I'm seeing that the Spurs struggle. And if you look at, those numbers that you mentioned, like, yeah, the Grizzlies are on this long win streak right now, but if you go over the course of the history, the Spurs have several streaks against the Grizzlies. 6 games, a lot of 5-game, 4-game streaks, and then the Grizzlies will win one. Like, the Spurs just have a bunch of, 5 games in a row, right? Like, season sweeps and things like that. And of course, there was a time period there where I think over the course of, 17 years where the Spurs won 50 games every single season.
Beating everybody.
Beating everybody. So that's more of it. I know early there was that one streak when you got to go back to 2002 when the Grizzlies were pretty much really bad at that point. Spurs won 21 in a row. So you got to do some work. And this is started in Vancouver. Like, that streak started against the Vancouver Grizzlies, and then, expansion happened and whatnot. Then the Memphis Grizzlies came, and that streak extended into Memphis for a little while. But that against the franchise overall, the Spurs have a 21-game win streak that Grizzlies got to do a little bit of work to track them down in that one. That's 2 more season sweeps.
Yeah. In that game against the Spurs, Jake LaRavia, another good game, 18 points for him. It feels like we're talking about him more and more, kind of stringing these games together when it comes to scoring the ball. I know in March this year, through 12 games, he's averaged about 13.5 points per game. What do you attribute that to? Do you think it's more if he's just getting more run out there because of all the injuries? Is it more of he makes a mistake and he's able to play through it because of how this season is? What do you think is the biggest factor of this more consistent play from Jake?
Yeah, it's a couple things. Like you mentioned him getting more run. That's a big part of it. Mm-hmm. But I feel like his run is defined. Mm. He has a role, and we're starting to see consistency in the types of performances that he has. With a lot of young players, we see it a lot with Gigi. Like, you see a guy, one night, big night. Next night, 6, 7 points, and what in the world happened? Jake LaRavia, last 4 games, 15 points, 12 points, 12 points, 14 points. But at the same time, on the other side of that, hasn't shot over 50% from the field in any of those games. 3 of 8, 3 of 10, 4 of 13, 4 of 9. But to the other side of that, 5 rebounds, 8 rebounds. Like, he has a defined role. You're starting to understand him as a player. Like, when we talked about Jake LaRavia 2-3 months ago, no one really knew, what he brings to the Grizzlies outside of what we've heard. There's this whole talk about him being a shooter and whatnot. And guess what? I don't think that's his role anymore. Mm-hmm. His role more now is, off-the-ball guy who can create some scoring in different situations. Maybe you get him going towards the basket. We've seen a lot of, he's going towards the basket and he kind of bumps the guy a little bit, turn around, knock that shot down like he's been doing since he was with the Hustle. He's capable of knocking down the three-pointer, but his rebounding has been good as well. Not in every game. He had those 2 games in early March against Brooklyn and Philly where he had back-to-back doubles, 14 and 10 and I think 19 and 13. Then he followed that up with a stretch of games where he wasn't rebounding really well, but since then he's rebounded the ball really well. So he's using his size well is one thing that stands out to me. He's 6'7", 230-plus pounds. He's using that size. He's capable of knocking down the three. So at the end of the day, we know what kind of player he is now. And that's all about building on it and getting closer to the ceiling and refining your game a little bit. But I think we have a direction in terms of if you want to talk and have that conversation about is Jake LaRavia part of the future with the Grizzlies, we know what his future would look like in terms of how he would play, how he would fit in. Whereas in the past, it was like, you think he's a shooter.
Yeah.
You think he brings this. But now I think we're starting to have more of an idea.
Well, tonight against the Nuggets, I think the Grizzlies like a 15.5, 16-point underdog in this one. Lopsided in terms of what these teams are. Denver is looking to repeat what they did last year. The Grizzlies, we know what this season has been for them. When you watch this game tonight, what are you going to be looking for from this Grizzlies team?
I'm going to be looking for, you guys know I'm a matchup guy, and I always try to break the game down in matchups, and I think matchups will tell the story of the team perspective. But two things stand out to me. I want to see G.G. Jackson and Jaren Jackson Jr. guard that two-man game, Jokic and Murray. This is going to be the toughest two-man game that those two will guard at any point this season. But it's going to emphasize the communication perspective for G.G. Jackson. As a young guy, and Jaren's going to do a lot of talking. That's going to be emphasized. And within that, of course, there's the Jaren part. Jaren's going to be matched up against Jokic. Jokic had a game earlier this season, which, it's hard to say if it was his best game or not this season, but it was one that stood out. He made all 11 of his shots against the Grizzlies while going for a triple-double. I think Xavier Tillman was his primary defender in the first game. Bismack Biyombo was his primary defender the second time the Grizzlies played him. This time it'll be Jaren Jackson Jr. potentially. They could. I wouldn't do it, but there is the possibility that the Grizzlies, throw Asante on him and then, use Jaren as a roamer. But I think, physicality-wise, you're probably going to see Jaren matched up against Jokic. That's one I want to see. And, again, that two-man game, I feel like these are the little steps where you talk about where G.G. Jackson can improve and kind of cement himself as a future, starter or just heavily involved in the rotation of this team next season and beyond. It's those little things. You're going to have to be able to thrive in these situations when you got Jokic and Murray doing the same thing 10 plays in a row.
Will Houston catch Golden State, and do they want to?
I definitely think they want to, because at this point, Houston still has some picks and whatnot, from other trades and stuff. So they have the ability to go for it. They don't, lose too much value in it. But I don't think they catch Golden State. I think if you look at this run that they've been on, as cool as it's been, they haven't really beaten, the top dogs, so to speak. And I think they beat the Suns. It's one game in that 8-game stretch. But the rest of the wins, I think it was the Wizards mixed in there twice. So it's a nice run in the Spurs as well. But I don't think they catch Golden State. I think we're pretty much just waiting on that Golden State Lakers 9-10 matchup at this point.
I think everybody in the NBA offices are hoping for that Golden State and Lakers matchup. It's going to be a good one if we get it.
That's going to sell some tickets.
Who is kind of the team to watch? Obviously, I think the Nuggets, but who is the team that you think could go for it in the Western Conference outside of Denver this year?
We talked about this earlier this season, and I was saying the Clippers, they look bad right now.
Yeah.
It's 1-8 after the All-Star break.
Yeah, they could lose that 4 spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Pelicans have pretty much caught them. I think they're 44-26, and the Pelicans are 44-27. So, they've walked them down pretty much. But, the Timberwolves are going through the injuries. The Nuggets and the Thunder are right there. If I had to throw another team, you say, just give me one more team that you throw in that mix. It's two teams that are fighting for that 6th spot that stand out. It's the Suns and the Mavs, but I'm going to lean more towards the Mavericks. 3 games in a row they've won. They got to, figure out that the front court stuff, some defensive things. But you go into any series with Luka and Kyrie, all bets are off, and that's kind of got to be their feeling at this point. I'm not closing the door on the Mavericks. Right now they're in that 8th spot, but you match up against the right team. You got Luka and Kyrie. Gafford and Derek Lively give you a nice center tandem there. Tim Hardaway, P.J. Washington. They got some nice pieces. I want to see them.
We've kind of agreed that it goes through UConn in college basketball. In the NBA, it goes across that parquet in Boston, doesn't it?
Yeah, man. It's Boston kind of looks like a juggernaut right now. they're top of the league in offense, they're top of the league in defense. And it's the way they're doing it, too. Because as talented as they are offensively, I think there are some holes there. But they mask those holes very well. Like, this team shoots the three-point shot so much, and you just watch them play, because everyone pretty much in their starting lineup is an efficient three-point shooter. So, I mean, you got Drew Holiday and Derek White having career years. You know, Chris Porzingis came into the league known for that. And, you know, Jaylen Brown. And, I mean, remember that Warriors game when they beat the Warriors by like 50-something points or whatever?
Yep.
They're sagging off of Jaylen Brown. Like, that's the guy you choose in the lineup, an all-star who's making over $300 million is the one you say, oh, that's the guy that we're gonna sag off of and leave him open. Like, that's the choices you have to make with the Celtics right now. That team is so well put together on both ends. I want to see the Bucks at full health now that Chris Middleton is, you know, starting to look healthier.
I do too. I want to see the best against the best.
Yeah.
I want to see the best against the best. I want to see the Bucks give them a run for it. But even with a healthy Bucks team, it's still hard for me seeing Boston being taken down.
Yeah, no, they look deadly this year. That is a tough team, I think, to beat when it comes to the playoffs. But DeMichael, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next Monday.
All right, take care, guys.
Thanks, DeMichael.
Thank you, DeMichael, so very much. DeMichael Cole with us, and great job. I wish I'd have told him while he was on. Great job to the Commercial Appeal on all their tournament coverage here. I know it was all hands on deck, everybody contributing, and it was fantastic for us, the consumer. Great job. So we know there's going to be a lot of LeBron jerseys Wednesday night. I think you'll see a smattering of Kobe Bryant jerseys and a couple of Shaq jerseys and one or two Kareem Abdul-Jabbar jerseys. Maybe a Jerry West in there.
Maybe.
Who's the next team that gets the most out-of-town jersey wearers, fans? Golden State?
Yeah. Currently, certainly Golden State.
Who would be third? I don't think it's a team. I think it's Kevin Durant.
I was about,
wherever he is.
I think so. But, I mean, now that he's stacking up, I mean, it's...
I like it when I go, when KD comes through town and you go, and there will be somebody there
certainly
in a Supersonics jersey.
That's great. But, I mean, now that he's bounced around, I mean, you get Golden State Kevin Durant jerseys, you get Brooklyn,
it's everything.
You get the Thunder. I mean, you get a little bit of everything.
Who would be fourth? All right, so
oh, jeez,
that's tough.
I don't know
think
if
it's
I'm
lessening.
fourth. Yeah, it's lessening. But I'll tell you, if there is a team that is kind of Luka certainly I think would be up there. But if there's a team,
Giannis probably.
Yeah,
definitely.
I could see Giannis a little bit, but I think a team that in a couple of years,
but we only get him once, and it's
true.
hard to gauge.
Yeah. That's true. I think a team that you could see in a year or two get a lot more. I think the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I can see Shea
continue have this success. Shea, Chet. I think Jalen Williams. Those
and
three
the deeper
guys.
the playoff run. But we've talked about this before. I think it's lessening because we're kind of moving away from older fans that were so established with another team. There aren't many. There are SGA fans, but there are not many that prefer him over Jaren, Ja, Bane, Gigi's coming.
Yeah. So I think you're right. It's less.
I mean, that 10, 11-year-old fan that sports brain that's really getting formed right now, if they're within 100 miles of FedEx Forum, it's Grizzlies.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so I think you're right. I think we're going to see little and little of it. And, I mean...
It used to be. You would back when Kobe would come through 03, 04.
Yeah, I believe it.
End the pyramid, beginning of FedEx Forum.
Yeah, I believe it. But it's certainly lessening.
At All-Star Chevrolet this week, everyone down there wishes everybody out in our listening area a happy holiday season, happy Easter to you, and happy springtime, and enjoy the basketball. But come down to Olive Branch to All-Star Chevrolet and look at all those great vehicles. First exit Kraft Goodman Road as you cross into Mississippi on Highway 78. Come get any new Silverado you want with financing down to 0.9. Your good credit deserves it, and you'll get it at All-Star, Trailblazers, and Equinox with 1.9 financing and no payments for 90 days. Families love the new Suburbans, so we all can do more together. Where are you going for Easter and spring break and for basketball and that first big April, May baseball trip. What are you driving? You need to be driving something from All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Teachers, college students, healthcare workers, military, first responders. You get an extra $500 bonus back. You want something pre-owned? It's there. All the Jeeps and Ram trucks. Come drive a Yukon Denali or a Traverse. If it's not on the lot, Kevin and Jeff, just ask them. They'll find it for you. And, again, they wish everyone a happy Easter week. Remember, it's not South Haven, not Mount Moriah, Bartlett, or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Come on down to All-Star Chevrolet today or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Let's get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
You know, sometimes I wish I had a gun.
Well, I'm armed, but before I bought one, I still went to Top Gun Academy to learn to protect myself without a gun.
How is that possible?
Top Gun's personal protection training. It's perfect if you want to protect yourself without firearms.
I don't know.
And it's perfect if you feel the need to carry a gun for self-defense, because the last thing you really want to do is shoot.
That is scary.
Not at Top Gun. It's very comfortable, and you learn to load, handle, and shoot a handgun safely. Protect yourself. Go to Top Gun Academy. They're at 2770 Winton Road.
It's time to discover your new Kia at Gossett Kia on the Pike. And there's never been a better time to drive off in your new Kia. Make it happen today in a 2024 Kia Forte LXS. 41 MPG, $219 a month. How about sporty 2024 Kia Sportage LX? We gossip $289 a month. Both $34.99 to its signing. And get rugged in 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $429 a month. $39.99 to its signing, all 36-month lease. So call Bobby J to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE72, $39.85, MSRP $22,320. Sportage R7, $24,7640, MSRP $29,635. Telluride RG, $49,9963, MSRP $41,005. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on a license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/1/2024. Dealer stock only.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using code KOSTOS, KOSTOS, and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, and the best daily promotions in the business. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. Remember to use code KOSTOS and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Place your money line, prop, and parlay bets with the king of sportsbooks today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older. Tennessee only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789.
The 75th anniversary sales event is on at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, and we've got Rock and Ronnie Smith ready to put you in your new V-Dub today.
That's right, Randy. 3's your lucky number. 2024 Taos S, or a 2024 Tiguan S, or a 2024 Jetta Sport. Your choice. $275.96 per month.
Plus, Gossett Volkswagen Germantown's got 2024 Atlas Cross Sport $33,999. Plus 1.9 for 60 months on all Atlas and Atlas Cross Sports, and 0 for 60 months on 24 Tiguans. But only at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown.
Come see me, Rockin' Ronnie Smith, and let me put you in your new V-Dub today.
Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or online, GossettVWG.com. All 36-month lease, 7,500 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Cannot combine APR offer with 3,000 customer cash rebate. House RMO 53314, MSRP 26063, Tiguan RM 003120, MSRP 30,026, Jetta RMO 48802, MSRP 25506, Cross RC 23156, MSRP 38998. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A car was up against a wall in a terrible spot a few minutes ago on Bill Morris Parkway coming westbound at Kirby. Hopefully they get that out of there. It's crawling eastbound right now as you head on back towards Collierville. This rain not helping rush hour traffic. Pretty slow on 240 as you get on to 385. Bill Morris Parkway, it continues to run slow out of Midtown on 240 South coming past South Parkway all the way down to Norris. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, a handful of things to get to during What's Trending. Shohei Ohtani talked to the media earlier today. Yes.
Who's the interpreter?
Didn't take his new interpreter. I don't know his new interpreter's name, but didn't take any questions. So we'll talk about that in a minute. We also have a story in the NBA, a gambling story. But, Brett, we were talking earlier about the NCAA tournament last night. You went Friday. I was there yesterday at FedEx Forum. We were talking off air. I went to the Rendezvous concession stand in the Pinnacle level. They have one at the bottom. They have one in the Pinnacle level. I went in the Pinnacle level.
Is the Pinnacle level one on the other side from the Grizzlies bench?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I go to it sometime.
I love that one. It's the only one I go to because not many people go to that one.
I ate every meal from Thursday through Sunday at the Rendezvous or at the concession at the building.
When I tell you, most games that I go over there, they'll have two people taking orders, maybe a good line in both, but whatever. They had 3 lines working. All 3 lines were curved at the end, going sideways.
They were rolling.
I mean, it was unbelievable. We stood in line. We got our barbecue nachos.
Food was delicious.
That was great.
Mine wasn't. And both of John's daughters working on Friday.
How about that?
Just one of the great work ethics ever that they have. And restaurants packed Nebraska fans.
Oh, man.
Made downtown Friday.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it before we get to it.
Mm-hmm.
What I learned is how badly I want Big Red back in football.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know you were there on Friday, but just seeing the tweets from people that were there covering it, people that were there just watching it.
That first 10 minutes.
Between them talking about the atmospheres between the first session and then when Nebraska got there, it was like, holy cow.
Whole new game.
There's a team here playing tonight, and their fan base is out to support it.
They sure did, and a lot of them stayed Saturday, and they just had Rendezvous packed at lunchtime on Saturday. Fun vibe with them in town. And that's how they showed out for basketball.
Yeah.
They're hungry in football.
Absolutely. Well, and you bring up Saturday, obviously, with the NCAA tournament here. A lot of festivities, and they had Starry, which you gotta love Starry. They're, it seems like they sponsor everything now with basketball.
Was that where Mario Chalmers was shooting?
Mario Chalmers in town to shoot threes at the Starry pop-up little event or whatever that they did. Well, supposedly they were trying because he shot alongside Rudy Gay. Former Grizzly. Tony Allen also shot.
Rudy Gay didn't hit a last-second game-winning shot against the Memphis Tigers.
And so,
in fact, I saw Rudy Gay's exit from the tournament to George Mason.
Wow.
In 2006 in D.C.
Yeah, and so I know Jonah Dillon, who joins us during the Tiger football season, he wrote about it. And said a lot of people there kind of didn't know how to feel. They were like, this feels wrong.
I didn't think he got any mistreatment in his Grizzlies years.
No.
Because people, they realize this is a job that was college.
Right. And I mean, I know at first when I saw the Grizzlies, I was in high school when he was with the Grizzlies, and I was kind of like, I don't like this.
Not taking someone else.
Yeah, I mean, out of all the people. But
I don't think it would have gone over 1974 with Bill Walton coming in here and playing for anybody, though.
No, not at all. But
Daryl Griffith.
No, absolutely not. But, he came and played well for the Grizzlies and was cool. But I loved his quote, and I don't have it now. I wish I did. But his quote to Jonah the other day, I have it here now. Tiger fans hate me. It's all out of love, though. I know that it's nothing vicious.
No, it's
they
really
just
not.
love their Tigers. No,
it's really not out of
we
love.
hate you, Mario.
No.
But I thought that was interesting on Saturday. That glad you're bringing former Grizzlies. But again, out of all the former Grizzlies that you could have tried to bring, Mario Chalmers, you had to send him here. I just felt like it was done on purpose.
That was a fast 16 years, wasn't it?
It really was. It's hard to believe.
It really is.
Here we are, I guess.
Except for the next year, with Tyreek going to the Sweet 16, there just hadn't been a lot of success.
Nope.
It hadn't been barren.
No,
not 20-win season every year in there.
Yeah.
But it's not tournament success, and that's what people want. And I don't think Eric Musselman is leaving Arkansas. There's a lot of conversation out there, but I think it chapped him pretty good this year. The blowback of one down year after Sweet 16, Elite 8. No, it's the expectation at that program.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not Sweet 16, but get in the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, and obviously, you said it a couple hours ago when we started the show of there's so much unknown now about this team and this roster this offseason, what will it look like, who will be a part of it. And so that's just what makes it hard because, it's not the Grizzlies or it's not what it was 6 years ago when you could say, hey, we know this core is coming back and maybe one or two hits the transfer portal, if that, but we know what we've got. We know what we're bringing in. This is what next year's team's going to look like. You can't say that for really any team in college basketball.
You used to be really surprised when somebody transferred out, and you were kind of scared of a transfer in. Is it someone else's problem?
Yeah, and because that's what it was. It was, either the problem or somebody that wasn't getting playing time and wanted to go somewhere else. It wasn't, leading scorer for South Carolina, Michi Johnson in the portal. So it's very, very different, and it's going to make these off seasons hard to figure out who's going to be the teams and who are going to be the teams that struggle.
Only thing I would say about Eric to Eric Musselman is you made it known you were up for grabs.
Oh, absolutely.
You were open for offers. You let the agent world know. You were out. It feels like he's been out shopping since middle of February. Now seems like he's going to stay.
Yeah.
Bumping salary. You got to go to the tournament next year. I don't care who you bring in.
Got to, because
it can be 15 new guys.
Oh yeah, because you went out there and basically said, hey, anybody that wants me, I'm open for offers. That Arkansas fan base ain't gonna like that. If you come back and you miss the tournament again, and you've been vocal about wanting to leave,
and especially maybe after another rough and tumble football season.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting both. This kind of what we've done this year for Arkansas in both football and basketball. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in Fayetteville. Those kind of 6 months.
The whole back off Rick Barnes. Do you think he's done enough in this tournament to get many? I asked David Cobb that. Your thoughts?
Sweet 16. I think so.
I need a little more. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you for needing a little more.
Not a lot more.
Just a little
I'm
bit.
not talking about winning it. I'm not talking about him winning it. I'm not talking about him losing in the finals. I'm not even saying get to the Final Four.
Yeah.
I think Tennessee has to beat Creighton.
Yeah. When I didn't like David Cobb's answer of I think Creighton's going to beat Tennessee.
Okay, so you become third round, Rick.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you become third round.
What's that get you?
Don't get us nowhere, Brett.
Well,
I do see what you're saying on that, Brett. I do. I honestly feel the same way. We do need a little more, man.
Yeah.
So I feel the same way.
And this is the world we're in college basketball. Again, it's like the golf majors. You can win at the Greater Hartford Open all you want.
Yeah.
It's not going to ring many chimes.
Yeah.
You got to break through at a major.
Got to do it at those majors. No, you're absolutely right about that. But I'm excited for that game. That should be a really good one between Tennessee and Creighton. Brett, before we get to a break, I want to get to this story. Shohei Ohtani spoke to reporters. Very weird how it was done. It came out a couple of hours before he was set to speak.
Well, the language barrier makes it
klutzy. Yes. But the fact that he will not take any questions came out only a couple of hours before he was set.
That's lawyers telling you that.
Absolutely. But the big quote coming from, and obviously this was happening while we were on air, so I have not been able to listen to the entire thing, but the biggest quote coming out of it, Shohei said, Ipe, quote, Ipe has been stealing money from my account and telling lies. But I think, and obviously, like you said, the lawyers are jumping out there saying you do not take any questions, but my biggest question is, how did he gain access? How did this happen? And if it was he came to me and said, I need this money, and I gave it to him, did nobody ask any questions outside of just you and your interpreter? Did your agent not ask any questions? There's got to be more to this story that we do not know right now, and I think there's going to be a lot that comes out of this.
It's not going away, and it's Manfred's worst nightmare.
It is, and I think
Manfred just thought those big pizza box bases were a big deal last year.
Yes.
Try this one.
The pizza box bases, the jerseys, he thought that's as bad as it's going to get, but now
the jerseys are still bad.
Well, the jerseys are bad. But no, I think MLB and the Dodgers wanted this all to go away, and it feels like the way they've been kind of going about it of okay, well, Shohei will speak, but he's not going to take any questions. It feels like they're trying to, let's just do this, and maybe it'll all go away. But I'm with you. This is not going anywhere.
Cardinals and the Dodgers.
Soon.
Cardinals opener.
Yeah, that's right. In L.A., so that's going to be and got to say this. I said it last week. I hate the fact that they went to Korea and are now coming back and playing more spring training games. They're playing a spring training game tonight in their stadium, which I just don't understand. I thought the perfect time, and I understand they wanted to do it.
You break camp, you have opening day.
Yes, and I understand wanting to go overseas somewhere. And I understand that they wanted to go to Korea before the KBO season started. But I feel like there was better ways maybe to do it than the way that they did it. I just think it was very kind of klutzy. And
did you watch any KBO
sense.
baseball during COVID?
Oh yeah. I
didn't watch pitch.
I needed a fix of baseball, and I tuned in a little bit. It's hard though. I mean, those games are in the middle of the night. It's hard, but that was back in my stay up most of the night phase of my life. So I was staying up and watching, and nothing to do. I mean, middle of COVID, what do I got to wake up for? I mean, so
there was nothing to do.
No, there really wasn't. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Talk About Crunch Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Response to the all-new Genesis Diamonds has been incredible. People are loving what we brought to Memphis. Genesis is a different kind of jewelry store with more jewelry than you've ever seen in one place at prices you never thought possible. What's the Genesis secret? Our owner was born and raised in the diamond industry in Tel Aviv. After selling wholesale to high-end jewelry retailers for years, he hated the insane markups they were getting away with. So he stopped selling to the stores and started selling direct to the public. That philosophy is still a core part of Genesis DNA as we continue to sell the highest quality diamonds at true no middleman direct importer prices. With international connections and massive buying power, Genesis has what it takes to beat anyone else's price every day on every diamond. Discover the Genesis difference, forever changing how people in Memphis buy diamonds and fine jewelry. Now open at Poplar and Perkins, the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans.
Getaway Sports Bar, the best-kept secret in town, open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town, grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, $2.25. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. A legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
A new era in public safety begins with you. Be the change you want to see. Join us for the Memphis Police Department Hiring Expo on Saturday, March 30th, 2024, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 170 North Main Street downtown. We will take applications, perform basic testing, and interview candidates on site. Salary starts at $54,611, increasing to $72,000 after 3 years. Free parking will be located at Poplar Avenue and Front Street. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE72, 3985, MSRP 22,320. Sportage R7, 247640, MSRP 29,635. Telluride RG 499963, MSRP 41,005. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on a license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/1/2024. Dealer stock only.
Hey, it's my man Jeff Allen bringing sweet deals from Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
Hey, Randy, I've got a 2024 Kia Forte LXS that gets 41 MPG highway, and you can hit the road for just $219 a month.
That's awesome. What else you got?
2024 Kia Sportage LX, $289 a month. Both 36-month lease and $34.99 due at signing. Or go big in a 2024 Kia Telluride S all-wheel drive, $429 a month. 36-month lease and $39.99 due at signing.
Plus, get peace of mind with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
We're online 24/7, KiaMountMoriah.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is where all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, what I learned today, we talked about Shohei Ohtani and his situation going on. Obviously, the biggest story in terms of sports betting, but a new one is reaching the surface. Jonte Porter, who brother of Michael Porter Jr., former Grizzly Jonte Porter, he is in hot water with the NBA right now because it all goes back to a couple of games where the books were getting a lot of money coming in on the unders for Jonte Porter. Points, rebounds, threes. There might have been one other. And in both of those games, he left with an injury or an illness, left the game, was not able to return. All the unders hit in both of those games. And even DraftKings came out the next day and said that the Jonte Porter under-made threes was the most money that bettors made in NBA games. So they got him on that one, but now the NBA...
Not the fixers.
But now the NBA is investigating and saying, is there anything into the Jonte Porter unders?
Jonte Porter making headlines.
I didn't see that one coming this morning.
I know what I learned, and since coming into the SEC, except for Johnny Manziel, and that's a big exception, winning the Heisman, really good the next year. That's 12 years ago.
Yeah.
The year he won the Heisman. Exactly what has A&M contributed? They always huff and puff, blow nobody over. The comeback was symbolic of the A&M years in SEC. It was unbelievable. That's why you don't leave early, isn't it?
Well,
you leave when
true.
it's all zeros up there.
Yep.
And why would you leave early?
I mean, the whole row in front of me left early last night.
What'd you save, 10 minutes in traffic?
I don't know. And I was shocked because one of the groups was like 8 college-age guys, looked like it, had been there for both games, left with like 2 minutes left in the second game. I was like, where?
I never get there late and I never leave early.
I don't know. What I could have done without, I mean, this is... I've got a confession to make, fellas, and I know at least how one of y'all is going to take this.
We're here for
Brett, Johnny, did y'all know the CBI was going on today in college basketball?
Today? We got finals from today?
Oh, yeah. We had our first game
I didn't know
started
what was going on.
I did not, John.
I did not know.
The quarterfinals today, our first game started at 11, then we had one at 1, then another one at 3:30. Well, Arkansas State, notably, kind of
They
here.
did?
They won. They beat Montana, so they go into the semifinals. What I could have done without, and what I have to tell y'all is there are 4 games today. One started right now with Seattle U. I did not bet on that, but I did bet on all 3 of the games before the Seattle U.
Amazing.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Game.
I love it.
That's what I could have done without. But we did win all 3 of them. So I mean, that is, I guess, on the good side.
I could have done without this. Once again, we have the early upsets. It makes the tournament. I'm there with everybody. But then the power teams take over. Gonzaga, Creighton, San Diego State, they're the little engines that could. Seriously.
Yeah. It's the big boys that are, now taking over when you get to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, and they're on. Oh, where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me to – there are 11 NBA games tonight, but beam me to late in the Clippers-Indiana game. The Clippers need it for the 4 seed. Indiana needs it for the 6 in the East.
Yeah, they sure do, and that will be a really good game. Beam me later tonight, 9 o'clock NBA game. 76ers and the Kings should be a fun game. 76ers, we know
Sacramento needs
what
that.
they've been. Sacramento needs that. So that should be a good one later tonight on NBA TV.
We'll watch Coaching Carousel. I think it spins pretty good tonight and into the day tomorrow and Wednesday. Grizzlies in Denver.
Yeah.
Everybody be real careful in Denver.
Yeah, be careful. We don't, the flashbacks
Some real
are,
mismatches tonight in the NBA, too.
There really are.
Look at those
really
point
are.
spreads.
You're absolutely right. Let's see.
And if you looked at the CBI point spreads, I know you've looked at the NBA point spreads.
If we're just going by this morning, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games
That's
with
out of 11.
double-digit spreads. So, it's a lot of lopsided games tonight in the NBA. And really, outside of that, a couple of days away, counting down the days for opening day in Major League Baseball. But really, all NBA tonight. But
Get your picks done?
No, you have your picks done. I need to get on that. I might have to dedicate some time tonight for MLB picks. But that's all the time we have today. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better? I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place, the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
Hey, this is Eli Savoy, and I've got a question for you. Who wants to pay full retail for a pre-owned car or truck when you can buy it at wholesale? Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, right off Covington Pike, has an unlimited selection of super sharp pre-owned cars and trucks you can buy at the wholesale price. And right now, you can use your tax refund as all or part of a down payment and still just pay the wholesale price. Chevy Silverados, F-150s and Ram trucks, Tahoes, Explorers, Jeep Wranglers, Grand Cherokees, Renegades, a Cadillac SRX, Camaros, Mustang convertible, Hyundais. Check it out. Go to wucars.com or Google Wholesale Unlimited Memphis. This is great. Your money goes a long way when you can buy at the wholesale price, and tax refund time makes it even better. Go to Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, just off Covington Pike, with guaranteed approval. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports 56, and you can thank me later.
We are Sports 56 WH.